Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, in Belmont, New Hampshire, a couple's argument spills out of control, causing death and bad feelings for everyone. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. We are excited for another week of mayhem and lunacy and murder, I guess you could say.
Right.
Thank you for everything this week, by the way. A couple things to announce. Number one, we won an award.
We did.
Which is pretty cool. Thank you to Discover Pods. Discover Pod does a contest thing every year with all of it. We won the best true crime category with Small Town Murder. Yeah, it was cool. We were in it with a lot of the heavy hitters of the true crime and big media companies and stuff like that. And two jackasses put it together and somehow beat the Washington Post. So whatever.
Thank all of you.
No. Thank you guys for that. Thank you, Discover Pod. Thank you guys for all of your iTunes/Apple Podcast purple icon, for lack of a better term, reviews. Thank you for that this week. They really help drive us up the charts. So if you haven't done that yet, please get on that. Give us 5 stars if you would. Doesn't really matter what you say. It's not for our ego. I think you have to write something, but whatever. I don't know what it is. Just say whatever you want. It's just to drive us up the charts.
Say whatever it is.
Thank you so much for all of that. And everything you want to know about the show, you can find at shutupandgivememurder.com, which is you can get your tickets to live shows like boy, this is the last weekend, guys, of this tour. So
get in here.
Get in it tonight. If you're listening to this today, it comes out on December 13th. We are in Boston
right now
because we are. I'm flying out. I have to be at the airport at 4:30 this morning to go to Boston. So we'll be in Boston at the Wilbur Theater there.
Terrific.
So come see us there. We're in Chicago the next night at the Vic on Friday, Saturday at the Fillmore, which is
Detroit.
a nice old theater in Detroit, and then Sunday rounding it out with Silver Spring, Maryland, outside of Baltimore, D.C. there.
Right.
And I think it's the Fillmore there
also
too.
The Fillmore.
Also the Fillmore. That's
come to these shows. Come hang out with us. We're only there once a year. I mean, Boston has been a couple of times.
Boston, we've been there a couple of times. This is our third time.
One.
Chicago, this is our third time in Chicago in a year.
This is our last time this year.
You keep coming out. So we're not planning on touring again for a little bit while. A concentrated tour. We do have January 25th is Seattle. That show was moved. We announced that last week in case you didn't hear it.
Yep.
If you still have tickets to the old Seattle show that got postponed, they're still good. Otherwise, come and get those. And West Palm Beach, Florida. And
boy, are people jacked about that.
Florida. They're like, they're coming to Florida. We're like, awesome. Yeah, I think that's going to do well. So
I think so.
West Palm Beach, Florida on February 21st. So get your tickets to that.
Excited I am about that.
That's going to be fun.
Just because it's Florida and we've bashed on them so much.
And they're going to love it. They love it.
We've told them we're never coming there.
Yeah.
And
we're always ribbing them. We're coming there.
We're fucking liars.
We're liars. We are liars. But we're not scumbags or assholes. We're assholes and liars. So you can add liars to that list there.
We're lying assholes.
Lying assholes, but not scumbags.
Right.
So there's that. Also, get your merch there, T-shirts, everything. Leggings, ladies. Leggings are being made as we speak right now.
Again,
so get
another
on there.
thing people are jacked about.
That's going to be fun. Ringtones are going to be coming out next week also. So all the ringtones that you've wanted, get all that stuff at shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, you can follow those links over to patreon.com/crime in sports, which is very important. That's to donate, and that is our life's blood. So thank you, everybody who does that. We will have a long list of wonderful producers later on that we can't thank enough. Or you can go over to PayPal, use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, to make a one-time donation. We love you guys thoroughly for that.
Truly.
We have to say. I have to do the disclaimer at this point. I have to do it. This is a comedy podcast. We are comedians. We're going to make jokes. We do. We're making jokes about small towns. We're making jokes about just idiots in general, murderers. We have no other recourse against a murderer. We're comedians. The facts are all real. The stories are real. None of that is fake or, embellished for comedic purposes or anything like that. What we do not do is we go out of our way to try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
Exactly.
And that's how we're trying to roll here. So if that sounds good to you, awesome. We're going to have a good time. It's a lot of fun. We're going to hear some horrible murder and some funny shit in between.
Terrific.
And if that doesn't sound right to you and you think that true crime and comedy never belong together, you're not going to like the show probably. There's a lot of serious shows. Look on that list of shows we beat. There's a lot of them that you'll probably like on there.
Go look at
that are good
2,
shows.
3, 4, 5,
They're good
6.
shows.
They're great shows.
Great shows. They're just not comedy. So
we're just more fun.
We're just a lot of fun. So if you want to hang out, that sounds great. If not, have a good one.
Bye.
Don't let the door hit you too hard on the way out. And if you're sitting there remaining and excited for this, then I know what you should be doing. Shout as loud as you can from wherever you are, unless you're in a conservative office. Then go into a bathroom stall and say it into a big bunch of toilet paper, very muffled.
Roll it into some single ply.
Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this.
All right.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmy. What do you say?
All right.
Oh, all right.
Whatever.
Okay.
We got a lot of plane tickets right now.
So many plane tickets. Jesus, we have a lot of plane tickets.
So many boarding passes.
I don't know where the hell I'm going anywhere. So we're going last week. First, we were in Kansas, and then for our second episode, we were in Wyoming. And by the way, we got a message from somebody, which I thought was awesome.
So great.
Who worked with the murderer, the Osborne guy in Wyoming, and said that we nailed him. He's a squirrely fuck who'd spend his whole paycheck on cheap vodka and crank.
They called him Squirrel.
They called him the Squirrel because he would go into people's lunch boxes and eat shit out of the lunch fridge and shit like that. And the guy said that he actually got in a fight with this man and knocked his front tooth out like 2 weeks before the murder. So I don't know. That sounds hilarious. I hope that's true.
The other one we got was about the lady who sold cigarettes to Floyd, knowing.
Yeah, the poor guy who got wrongfully convicted for 15 years, and it was his brother who did this horrible crime.
So he's been going into her store and buying cigarettes from her for so long.
He
she had
doesn't
no
say,
idea.
How you doing? Going to get a pack of Marlboros. I was convicted wrongfully for raping a 14-year-old girl and murdering her and spent much time in prison. Turned out to be my brother, found out on DNA and after suicide notes. Here's some articles. That would be a very long introduction. Just pack of Marlboros will do, I think.
Marlboro shorts would be great.
That's fine. Pack of Reds, thank you. So we're going from there, going to the Northeast this week, very close to Massachusetts, actually, where we are going to be in Boston. We are going to New Hampshire.
Great.
Going to Belmont, New Hampshire.
I know people in New Hampshire.
There you go, Belmont. We're going to, you know anybody in Belmont?
I don't know.
Well, probably not.
I don't know where the fuck that is.
Not a lot of people there. Probably not. It's right in the middle of New Hampshire. Very central, not in the upper panhandle or any of that shit. I call it the Canadian panhandle up there. None of that stuff. It's right smack in the middle of the state here. About a half hour to Concord, which is the capital. Concord, which is the capital. I'm not with a southern accent, but
they say Concord.
Yeah,
that's the weirdest thing.
No, everyone up there talks like the Pepperidge Farm guy. Pepperidge really Farm remembers. I'll tell you that right there. It's like they all have like a weird Kennedy accent mixed with. There's some hillbilly in those.
It is.
in there too in Vermont and New Hampshire.
Our buddy Casey, who works at the club here,
he's from there.
He's from New Hampshire.
A lot of people are,
and he is. There's a little bit of hillbilly that runs in Casey's blood.
Yeah.
He hides it underneath that suit.
It's
looks
true.
Great.
Well, he's descended from bog people. That's the problem. He's very Irish. That's the. Sorry, I'm Italian. I have to say that sort of shit. That's a 30 Rock line I stole from Alec Baldwin. Yes, about his Irish girlfriend. She's descended from bog people. Saying that she's very emotional.
That's my favorite Irish song, though, the Rattling Bog. That's a great song.
Jesus Christ. That's fucking Alec Baldwin ringing through my head there. That's a great character. Anyway, moving on here. It's about a half hour to Concord.
I don't know how fake and put on that is, though. That's just Alec Baldwin. I'm convinced of it.
Oh, no. Well, they make him like
great dick.
super. Oh, he's a great dick.
He's an amazing dick.
He's just he's really funny.
I love him.
This place is about 2 hours to Boston. Okay. So this is driving distance to our show. So there you go, at the Wilbur Theater on December 13th. Today, if you're listening to this. Tonight. So you can still get tickets.
It's cold out here.
2 hours to Portland, Maine, the other direction. Okay. So that's kind of all the different directions. 2 hours to Portland, Maine, in case you want to go there for some reason. It's in Belknap County, or Belknap County. I don't know if you pronounce the K. I don't, because the K, do you do it twice? Is it because it could be
Belknap?
It could be Belknap, or it's BLK or NAP.
BELK?
BELK, NAP. There's no vowels in this word at all.
BLKNP.
Yeah.
Belknap.
That's it. It's Belknap, and we're going there. It's fantastic. So, one of those fucking counties. Yeah. Zip code 03220, area code 603. It's a big area here, 32.3 square miles, but it's kind of spread out, so that's why it's not a lot of people in that area. It's kind of the woods, I would say. Motto here, town motto. This is not a bad one. Obviously, trying to draw in the tourism and people to move there too, and just draw people in. Basically, motto quote: "Not to Canada, not to Boston." So that's not bad.
Pretty impressive.
It's not bad. It's a good motto. I think.
Still cold as shit.
It's still cold as shit. Not bad. I wish that was their motto. I wish I didn't have to make that one up.
No
but
Boston,
it is,
no Canada, but it still feels like
not
it.
Not too Canada, not too Boston. So it's all right. Not too drunk, not too friendly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're right in the middle. We're drunk and reasonably friendly. Yeah. We're mildly buzzed and reasonably friendly. That should be there. That's right there. Originally known as Upper Gilmanton, this town was, which is an awful name. Belmont, much better. Much fucking better. Was chartered in 1727. This was as a parish. This is all old shit up here.
Fuck yeah.
They had water power from the Tioga River, and also it developed after that as mill town. So there's a lot of milling going on up there, which, I mean, in the 1700s, what else is there to do? Right. You're either whaling or milling, pretty much. I don't know what else you're farming.
Or woodsing. What do they call that?
Logging, farming. I guess there's a lot of jobs.
Yeah,
but that's
it's all just working on the land.
It's a lot of land jobs, and then you could.
It's just outdoorsy, tough shit.
Block a hat, maybe. I don't know. There's not a lot of.
You had to be a real different. Cut from a different cloth, man.
I was thinking about this today. Quick aside, Sarah really wanted a Pillsbury Doughboy Funko doll because she likes advertising icons, right? So she really wanted that, and it came out at noon, and she was on there ready to buy it, and in the time it took her to get it in her cart and do it, it was sold out already. It was 20 seconds. It was sold out. So it's ridiculous. So I go on, obviously, because I'm a nice fucking guy, and she won't hear this show probably for a couple weeks. So I get on there, and I'm like, well, I'm going to find this shit for her because she really wants it. So I find it on eBay.
Of course, already.
The cheapest it's there is $50.
Jesus.
It's $15 originally. So in an hour, this guy made a $35 profit on a fucking Pillsbury Doughboy thing. And I'm like, how many times did this person do it? I'm like, that's this person's job.
Yeah,
that's what they fucking do.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can literally buy a doll and sell it a minute later and make a living doing that.
That's
Whereas
crazy.
back then, you had to have a mill.
Right.
You had to turn wheat into something.
Right.
You had to fucking make a shoe. You had to you couldn't just be like, I got this fucking doll a minute ago. You want it from somebody would have killed you. They'd have beat you with an iron back then for that. You can't do that. You fucking crazy.
I bought this log for 2 cents. Here, I'm reselling it to you for $50.
From here to here.
I'll beat you to death.
They'd be like, no, I'm going to go to the guy with the log and just get it for 2 cents. But now it's this. So that's what I mean. It's a different world. Yeah. In 1833, the Gilmanton Village Manufacturing Company was built. They made cotton and woolen textiles.
Okay.
So they made clothes and cotton and wool. Clothery. Yeah. They were a veritable clothery. It would change owners and names and products, but they kept this mill there for a long time.
Can I real quick tell you thank you?
Please.
For how much I have...
Thank me.
I seriously... And thank this audience.
What have I done,
for
Jimmy?
Keeping this show going. I have learned so much.
Geography and just general knowledge. There's no oil in Florida.
I've learned, that I'm an idiot. I've learned what a textile is. I've learned all kinds of weird shit.
We've really got some strange
that
facts out of this show.
I should have known this shit.
Kind of.
But you've
not
given
really.
it to me.
Well, I didn't know most of it.
It's a treat. It's a goddamn treat.
It is a treat. This is the thing. We get some people who don't give a shit about the town stuff and they just want the murder, and they're like, why do you do the town shit in the beginning? And then we have some people who are like, but I don't care about the murder. The town stuff is my favorite fucking part. I'd rather hear the real estate report than the murder. So we get I love doing this town shit. That's the reason I like this show.
That's
I like
why we're different, goddammit.
That's me. I like to look at a small town because honestly, when people email us or whatever from a small town and they say that we've done and they go, dude, you totally nailed that fucking town and we've never been there. Right. This is just based on reading some stuff. That feels cool. I like it. I like to try to get the sense of what's going on, and it helps to know the people involved, to know where they're from and shit like that. The history obviously has nothing to do with the murder, but it's just kind of fun.
If we did a murder story, I still wouldn't know what a fucking textile is.
That's the thing. And it's fun to do this shit. It's fun to look back at some weird historical fact, and it takes 10 minutes, relax.
Fascinating.
So calm down. You still get an hour and a half at least of murder, more likely an hour 45. Calm the fuck down. So you can skip to 30 minutes in otherwise, because that's about how long this takes. So 1921, it was the Belmont hosiery company. They made silk and woolen stockings. Oh. So very,
they didn't make silk. Worms made silk.
Well, worms made silk. They fashioned them into stockings, because worms don't make stockings.
No, that's true. They don't do that.
They tried to train them, but it's very difficult. It went out of business in 1955, and eventually it was renovated at this mill building that was all these different clothing places. It was renovated eventually, and it's now a community center.
Really?
So yeah, I'm sure where underpaid workers probably died in a fire at some point. Right. You can go, you know, shoot
basketball.
Yeah, old people can go read.
Right.
And play backgammon. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Yeah, whatever the hell they're doing over there. Pickleball. It was separated from Gilmanton by an act of the legislature and was incorporated on its own here. Belmont was in 1859 as Upper Gilmanton, obviously, and then 1869 they changed the name to Belmont after August Belmont, who is, I know, one of your heroes. Yeah. He was a German Jewish American. He's a Jewish guy. German Jew.
In
in the 1800s, though. issues.
He had no idea.
Pre-problems that were going to occur. But he was a politician, financier, a foreign diplomat. He was an ambassador at one point, a chairman of the Democratic National Committee during the 1860s, and a horse breeder and racehorse owner.
Well, how about that?
He was the founder and namesake of the Belmont Stakes, which is the third leg of the Triple Crown. So if you, for that 3 times a year when people give a shit about horse racing and you're wondering what the fuck, one of those races is this guy's name that you're hearing about. The Belmont. Yeah, that's one.
And this is the
last one
that that took his name also.
Yeah, many towns did. And in New York, like in Jersey, and there's a million Belmont.
There's a street named
There's 100 Belmont Avenues
just
back
north
there.
of
There's towns, Belmont, all over Jersey, all over New York. It's crazy here. So they basically, they named it after him. He had no point in it. He had nothing to do with this town.
Really?
They named it after him in hopes that he would give to the town, contribute, but he never even acknowledged them at all. He just ignored them. They changed the town name to try to kiss somebody's ass, and they just he completely snubbed the gesture. Not interested. Not interested, fuckheads. Keep milling.
Welcome to Buffett, Arizona.
Yeah. Come on. We like you.
Warren, look what we did.
It was like towns when they were wooing Amazon recently for their factory. Towns like, we'll change the name to Amazon. It'll be Amazon, Georgia. We don't give a fuck. Atlanta, fuck Atlanta. Or, they'd pick a town and crush it to the ground and rename it for them.
I want that kind of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people try to woo you. To just be nice to their town.
The guy that started Amazon, he's got cousins and shit coming to him for a while. Until now he's as big as he is. Now he's got a whole fucking town coming to him.
He had cities all over. Yeah, and he knew where he was putting it the whole time. Never mind. We'll talk about that. So, famous people in this town here, from this town. Richard Paul Pavlik. Another, I know, one of your heroes, Jimmy. I know your posters on your wall as a child. You dreamed of days just imitating this guy. He lived, actually, he's an old motherfucker. He lived from 1887 to 1975, a retired postal worker from New Hampshire who stalked President-elect before he took office between the election and the inauguration, John F. Kennedy, with the intent of assassinating him.
Wow.
On December 11th, 1960, in Palm Beach, Florida, which will be in West Palm Beach, Florida, on February 21st at the West Palm Beach Improv. Buy your tickets now. This Pavlik guy positioned himself to carry out this assassination by blowing himself up and Kennedy with dynamite. He was going to do like a fucking...
Just going to run at him.
Yeah, he was going to do some, terrorist, some suicide what you think of suicide bombing shit. But he stopped because Kennedy had his wife and kids with him.
Oh,
and so he didn't do it because it was 1960.
Right.
And so the people were still like, there's kids in the car. I can't do that. Man, he looks like a swell fella there next to his wife. I'm not sure about that.
I was hoping you were going to say you got a glimpse of those steel blue eyes and just changed
an attractive man, as a matter of fact. I think I'm going to just try to have sex with him instead. Can't do that if we're both dead, so I'm going to unhook the suicide vest and I'm going to go in there.
I'm just going to jam a stick of this up my ass and pull it out and put it in and take it out and put it in.
He's the most famous person from this town. Just do that a few more times, too, by the way. For that's what he's famous for, mainly, what you were just describing. He ended up being arrested before he was able to stage another attempt on Kennedy's life, and so thwarted him for, it didn't last long, obviously. We know what happened to Kennedy.
Somebody else got him, Pavlik.
Yeah, somebody else got him here. Historically, the population of the town, from 1860 to 1960, it had it grew like 800 people, maybe. In
100 years?
In 100 years. 1860, it had basically 1,200 people. And by 1960, it had 1,900 people. Okay. So it was 700 people in that many years. But nowadays, it is 7,315 is the population. So it's really shot up since 1970. That's when it was 2,400, and it's just jumped ever since then. It's up 26% since 1990, so pretty steady growth. Median age here in this town is a little older than normal, about 39 and a half. It's about 2 years older than normal. But it's not like it's not a huge elderly population either. It's like there's a few extra old people, but it's pretty standard along lines of within range of normal of all the age groups, that sort of thing. More females than males, so they are. Well, I think it's just the men are dying off. I think faster than the women. So those old people are Probably just women. They outlive us every goddamn time, Jimmy. Married population's about 57%. It's normally 50-50, so a little high there. Widowed population's actually low here. It's about half the normal rate. Divorce rate's about normal. So there's not a lot that's pretty like aberrant out of the statistics here. I would say it's a pretty average American town. Race of this town is average for these small towns. In the country, it's like 63% white is the norm. In these small towns, every one of these towns is 90%. Yeah. Here it's 88%. 3.7% black. 0.26% Asian, which is not even a percent.
Super low.
5 is an average. 5%. So this is
not even a 0.5%.
That's not even a half, barely a quarter, for Christ's sake. 5.53% Hispanic, which is a third of the norm in the country. Religion in this town, 33% of the people here are religious. So it's not a highly 50-50 is normal.
New Hampshire's a blue state usually, right?
They're free thinkers kind of, though. They'll go, they're weird, but most of the time, of the time they end up going blue. Okay. But not last time. Okay. I don't think. I think they did. I think Trump ended up. I'm not sure. I don't remember that. Never mind. So
it's a painful memory.
So 33% religious, 21.5% Catholic, obviously, because Catholics are the Baptists of the North. Obviously, they're that area, boy. It's going to be pretty Catholic, everybody. So even the 0.8% LDS, they can't quite penetrate it, which is a bad thing to say when we're talking about both the Catholic Church and the Mormon Church. Shouldn't use the word penetrate, probably. It's not great.
They're not good with it.
Not good with it. 0.3% Jewish, which I thought I was going to get a Hava Nagila today. I thought I was going to get to sing it, but nope, 0.3% Jewish, not at all. Not going up there. 0.0% Islam also. Politically, this particular town actually leans more conservative than the rest of New Hampshire. About 39% voted Democrat in the last presidential election, 55% Republican, and a little over 6% independent. That's the other thing too. New Hampshire's open. They're open to like independence and ideas like that and shit like that. They're a different breed up there in New Hampshire,
a lot of
Vermont.
Enough of your shit.
Yeah, well, their state motto is "Live free or die."
Yeah, that's a good point.
They have "die" in their motto, so they're pretty fucking hardcore up there.
Their state motto is like a Bruce Willis movie.
I'll live in the woods with a musket. I really will. I don't care. Like that should be their state motto. I think that's actually the town motto. I'm not sure. So it's they're open to shit up there. We'll say they're a little bit more open. Unemployment rate's about half the norm in the country here, but you can, there's places to commute around here too, so that helps also. It's 2.6% is the unemployment rate here, which is very low.
That's great.
That's terrific. Yeah,
it's 7 usually or 5?
It's 5.2 right now, so that's exactly half. Not bad at all. Now, median household income in the United States is about $53,500. Here it is $65,500, so actually a higher income here. Job wise, there's a lot of manufacturing jobs here. I guess they're going to reopen some fucking mills over here. A lot of retail trade. I guess that's a higher thing here. Not a lot of white collar jobs. Like it's about a third of like the science jobs and technical jobs, and like a third of the finance and insurance and that sort of thing. Because I guess Boston's right there.
Yeah,
so
why be here?
It's one of those deals. I'm not sure. So a lot of healthcare too there. That's a high one in this whole deal. Overall cost of living, 100 being average regular par. Here, cost of living is 103, so it's right around average.
Making a little more money, and they still right on par.
Yeah, that's not bad. Healthcare is right at normal. Utilities are high here. Actually, that's the high one. Housing is right around normal. It's $201,600 is the median home cost, which is not for the East Coast.
Yeah, that's great.
That's not bad for 2 hours from Boston. And I looked at the houses. There's not even. It seems like it might be lower than that now because housing costs are really dipping. If you look especially East Coast, if you look like just at a real estate actually listing, you'll see like that's very current. So I think it might be one of those things. Here, some of the houses, a lot of them, about 50% of the houses are worth between $150,000 and $300,000. So that's pretty normal, I would say, for everywhere. And if we've convinced you, damn it, that the only place for you to possibly be is Belmont, New Hampshire, we have for you the Belmont, New Hampshire Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here of any kind is about $1,150, which is a little below the national average. So that's actually not a bad deal. Houses, I found some deals, man. I'm sorry. If I'm looking for a house here, I'm gonna clean up. We'll put it that way. Found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath foreclosure here, so it's gonna be cheap. 1,296 square feet. Needs some work on the inside, but $79,900.
Jesus,
that's cheap, man. To live 2 hours from Boston, that's not too bad. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I found with 1,800 square feet. It's a nice, like, clean-looking white house. $178,500.
Okay,
not terrible. And then I found this house, and this is like kind of redone recently and pretty cool. 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,358 square feet.
Now
so
you're talking.
Good size. It's an old like farmhouse with like a converted barn that's all been redone.
Awesome.
And it's all red and peaked roofs, and it looks cool as shit. $219,000.
Fucking great.
Looks awesome. Yeah, so kind of sitting in the woods.
Oh,
it's pretty awesome. So there you go. Move to New Hampshire.
That stays on the market
it's
a while.
Not bad.
I want that.
I'm telling you, man. Things to do. They have old home days, is what they call it here. For over one, this is right off the website here. For over 100 years, Old Home Day has been an annual event, now with day-long and evening festivities throughout the village. Very exciting. Each year, the Old Home Day Committee also accepts nominations for the Belmont Good Citizen Award.
Ugh.
Jesus Christ.
Who's on that fucking committee?
Nominees must be a resident of the town. This is what I want to know. What are the qualifications for Good Citizen Award? Must be a resident of the town and someone that displays good citizenship qualities through academic, civic, volunteer, and personal achievement. Students receiving this award are to be commended for their exemplary achievements in being model good citizens for the community. So, it's a pretty special day, they say. For everyone. They have the 10-mile road race there. Also, you can check out the winners on their website because we all want to know who won that.
What if a resident is just somebody that owns a home there, right?
Yeah, I guess you just have to live there. I mean, I don't know.
Because if we don't have to live there, let's fucking save some of our money.
We have to live there.
Let's
we need
get
an
that
address.
$79,000 house.
Let's do it.
And then let's have all these people nominate us as a citizen.
We are going to crowdsource. We need $80,000.
We want to win that award.
We're going to crowdsource a shitty house in Belmont, and we are going to win the fucking award.
The Citizenship Award. It's going to be the greatest.
The Good Citizen Award in Belmont. We're going to be so happy, guys.
And then we won't show up to the ceremony?
Nope, not at all.
Fuck them.
Nope, fuck them. Look forward to that. Jesus Christ. That's coming soon, guys.
I want that.
I do too. Crime rate in this town. Property crime. It's high crime in this town, actually, crime rate. Property crime's about 20% higher than the norm that I found. And violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, of course, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about a third higher. Okay. It's high there. That's a lot. It's for a small town. There's only 7,000 people here. Yeah. Like, that's pretty violent.
I've heard that New Hampshire's got a really bad drug epidemic, though.
Well, do
you think that's driving it?
That's gonna that segues beautifully into our murder for this day. It really does. No, sorry, you've just segued it beautifully. That's great because drugs are an issue in this entire murder. And just these people's lifestyle, and then later on a very funny thing that we'll talk about that has something to do with drugs. It's pretty fucking funny, actually. Not that a drug epidemic is funny, but it has to do with prison. So who cares? It's one of those things. So not that who cares if they. Fuck them. Anyway.
Stop backtracking.
I'm not. That's why.
Make our statements and we move.
That's right.
We stick and move.
That's what I do. I was not planning on that at all.
Good.
That was good. At the end, it was going to be fuck 'em.
Okay.
So let's talk about this murder that happened here, because this was also, by the way, sent to us by a listener last week.
Oh, great.
When I was looking for a case in New Hampshire, I was literally looking for one, and a message popped up, actually like 8 messages popped up saying, here's this murder in New Hampshire that's like my nephew's, this and that. Awesome. So they had a personal involvement, which you might say, did you contact the person? No, because we don't do that.
Right.
Let's say I contacted this person and they told us whatever backstory. Then I would feel obligated to contact somebody that disagrees with that person to get balance on it. And then at that point, I'm a fucking journalist, which I'm not.
Now you're chasing down leads.
At that point, I'm Sarah Koenig, and I'm not Sarah. I'm not. I'm just, she's great, but I'm not her. I'm a fucking comedian, and Jimmy's a comedian, and I'm not chasing down stories. What we do is we, like, just like the people say, hey, you nailed the town, or the guy who said, oh, holy shit, you nailed the murderer. I totally know that guy, and he's that exact guy that you described. Like, that's what we try to do. We try to get it from that's the charm of this. Otherwise, we don't know. We're not going to do. Yeah,
you're like a police sketch artist, and somebody's just whispering the shit to you.
Yeah, I'm reading court documents and getting all the facts I can. But if we start talking to people, then, like I said, you're building it's a different thing completely, and that's not what we do. And then you'd end up concentrating on one story. It's a different thing. Yeah. We got to bounce from week to week. So let's go back to September 2006 here. So not too far in the time machine. It's a short trip. It
was quick.
It's a quick one. I feel, I'm not even like winded. Usually I feel kind of lightheaded after our trips, but I feel pretty good right now. It's not bad. Nothing like this trip to Boston I'll be on at 6 o'clock this fucking morning.
What I do like about going to the East Coast from here is that going there is quicker because of the Earth's rotation. What I hate is when we have to fucking exhausted.
It's the worst.
Done. And it adds another fucking hour and a half to the flight.
Yeah, 4 shows and 4 nights, and this is going to be...
And then flying home from D.C.
And this is going to be
brutal.
Yeah, this is insane.
This is going to hurt.
If you see us, just say, fucking, you survived, guys. Keep plugging along, because we're going to be tired.
Take it easy.
We're literally going to be on... Boston will be all rested. You might not, because you're flying all night.
I'm flying all damn night. I'm going to try and get a nap during the day, and then... get to the show, and hopefully I'm rested enough.
I'm going in a day early, so I am going to sleep like a bastard for the entire time I'm in Boston until the show. So that's good. Then I got to save that, because then all weekend I have none.
Yeah.
2006, talk about some people here. We'll talk about a brother and sister combination.
Okay.
Jennifer and Jeremy Heward is his real name, I guess, is Jeremiah, but they call him Jeremy. Jeremy at this point is 29 years old, and Jennifer's 26 years old.
Okay.
So they're brother and sister. They hang out together, and we'll find out how they hang out and all that sort of thing here. They hang out basically because of a guy here named Kirkman Cassavaugh. Kirkman.
Oh, boy.
With a K, and Cassavaugh with a C.
Man. At the end of Kirk.
Kirkman.
Oh, boy.
A man named Kirk.
What the fuck?
Kirkman Cassavaugh, which it should be not Cassavaugh. It should be Kavanaugh, I feel like, or something of that. But Cassavaugh the third.
Oh, Jesus.
As if you know anything about crime and sports, you know that juniors are never good.
No.
And whenever it's the third, we're like, oh, Jesus Christ. For the love of God.
Junior.
Yeah, junior's junior. So it's not a good thing. But we don't know about this story yet. But generally, we're always, because I mean, Floyd Bledsoe last week was a junior, and he had all the chips stacked against him. He was a junior. His brother's testifying against him. He had it all against him. Fucking didn't do shit. Nice guy. So just wants to buy his cigarettes and be left alone.
Kirkman Cassavaugh the third sounds like somebody that plays fucking water polo or something.
Yeah, he sounds very
so
upper crust. He's not. Let me tell you a little bit about his background. He's not.
Folks are bullshitting.
His folks were bullshitting. His grandfather seemed like I don't know anything about his personal life, but I found his obituary when he died. He died in 2007, a little bit after this. Yeah. But he worked at the Coca-Cola plant in near. There's a Coca-Cola plant apparently somewhere in this area. Okay. He worked there for 48 years. It said in his thing, 48 fucking years in the same place. That which sounds unbelievably.
That's awful.
48 years, man. And
I work with a dude who has been at the company for 51 years.
Good God.
Why? What are you doing?
Go home now.
Get the fuck out.
Don't you want to do other things with yourself? Well, I guess not. He's happy with what he's doing.
He's doing it.
48 years at the Coca-Cola plant here. So his grandfather has his father, who was Kirkman Cassavaugh Jr., obviously. His dad, okay, this is interesting because in all these articles up here, it mentions his dad was a police officer that then moved to Florida. Okay. And then that's it. They never mention anything else. But if you just search some newspaper articles, like our archives, like normal people do, right? Yeah. Everyone's sitting around searching newspaper archives for information on people that have nothing to do with shit, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you do that, and if you search Florida newspapers in the 80s, you find out that his father was a dirty cop who ended up having to resign from the force.
Oh shit!
Over basically a sex ring where he. Well, let's just read from this article I found.
Fuck?
So we're talking right away. He comes from good stock, Kirkman Carr.
I mean, his grandpa's a hard-working son of a bitch. Mind you,
he might have been an alcoholic that beat the shit out of everyone when he got home every night. We have no idea. He might have molested the grandkids. We don't know the person. That's why I said, from the outside, you go, he had a big family, grandkids, worked at the same place 48 years. Sounds like a nice old guy, but who knows? We don't know.
Why didn't he 48? Why not stick it out for 2 and be
pussy.
A celebratory guy?
Yeah, nope.
Why not just get to 50
Jimmy.
And dip?
He couldn't make it, Jimmy. That's why he's a slacker. That's why. Fucking slacker. So apparently this one guy here, another cop, a cop named Walker, was fired after a year-long internal investigation, and Kirkman Cassavaugh, who was Walker's supervisor and our guy's father, the guy in our story's father, had to resign also. They basically ended up taking disciplinary action against these people. A Palm Beach Internal Affairs sergeant said, quote, there were several, by the way, we'll be in West Palm Beach, Florida.
I almost did it. And I was
February
like, 21st.
This is this is in Palm Bay. I'm sorry, Palm Bay. He says, "quote There were several allegations that could have resulted in criminal charges, but in consultation with the state's attorney's office, we determined there was not enough evidence to convict anyone. Basically, they showed that this Officer Walker, spent an inordinate amount of duty time in the homes of girlfriends and female acquaintances. He also spent a lot of time at convenience stores socializing with female clerks. I guess both Walker and Cassavaugh were present at a house where drug transactions were taking place and should have been aware of the transactions because they were like hanging out while people were buying drugs in a drug dealer's house.
They're too busy with their eyes closed and their dick in a woman's mouth.
This is in like 87. So in 87, they used to pay off local police forces all the time. The cops would transport cocaine for guys back then as for a fee, and like it was just easier. They said that the investigation also confirmed allegations that Walker developed relationships with young and vulnerable female victims of domestic violence calls. Yes, he would try to swoop in on, and there's a lot of cops actually that I've heard that get busted for this. They get somebody and then they end up coming back later on. Hey, how you doing? Make sure you're okay. And they kind of push themselves on them. And they know
this and see if it's clean, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like, hold on, let me check my dipstick quick, out in the car. Not great. So apparently Smith and Cassavaugh's action showed a repeated pattern, but they said Cassavaugh recruited Walker and they were kind of, he was like his underling and his whatever. They said, quote, it has made us examine our policies and make our background checks more in depth than they were before. So this is his father we'll talk about. Now, there was a lot more to that story, too. There was several. It was an unfolding whatever. That's just the overview. And if this was, Beach Town corrupt police show, then that's all we would talk about this whole time. But it's small town murder. Yeah. So let's get to something
Jake
a little...
Gyllenhaal gleaned all he needed from that archive.
That's all he needed right there. Yeah, this was he basically had a training day situation going on here. So Cassavaugh is dating he's dating this Jennifer, Jeremiah's sister, Jeremy's sister. Okay. Now, he had also a violent history with his ex-girlfriend here, the third. Now we're talking about Kirkman Cassavaugh the third. He violated a restraining order obtained by a woman named Nicole Cadaldo, formerly of Belmont. She's the mother of his son. At this point, he's got a 7-year-old son, this Cassavaugh. So, it's
how old a guy is he?
29.
29 years old.
So he's the same age as Jeremy.
With a violent temper.
He's friends with Jeremy, and then he goes out with Jeremy's sister, Jennifer. That's how it works. That's the relationship. When she's not around, they're still hanging out. Of course. It's that kind of deal. So Cataldo moved down to Maryland, I assume to get away from this nutcase who's violating restraining orders. Right. I assume. Just a fucking hunch. Maryland.
Are you in Silver Spring?
Like Silver Spring, Maryland, where we will be this Sunday, December the 16th, at the Fillmore. Not a lot of tickets. I think that one's almost sold out. Just about sold out. So if you want to get on that one, get them now. Shutupandgivememurder.com. All right, no more plugs. I swear to Christ. By the way, this episode... You're going to notice this episode has no ads in it. This is an ad-free episode. Great. We're presenting this episode ad-free so we can plug our fucking show instead.
This show's brought to you by shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yeah, shutupandgivememurder.com. Yeah, we're going to, just going to take a quick break to tell you about our fucking live shows and the fact that we have 6 on the books and 4 left of this tour this week, and you better get to them, you sons of bitches. So anyway, now back to the show. Come on.
And now back to the show.
There you go. Excellent.
I couldn't do it.
Anyway. Oh, Christ. So, she moved down there. Family court records, basically, from this area note a history of, quote, violent and unpleasant interactions between Cataldo and Cassava, who apparently had difficulty, they said in the reports, that he, quote, apparently had apparent difficulty in managing his temper. Uh-huh. That's what a judge wrote in her report of the domestic violence overview of the situation. He's a fucking asshole. Yeah. He's a dick with a temper, and his dad's a fucking kind of a dirty-ish cop. I don't know if we want to call him dirty. He wasn't. Who knows? His dad's had to resign from the police force for shady sexual actions and other fucking things like that.
Treats women like shit.
So it's not a great. Yeah, there's a pattern here with this whole thing.
Oh, Dad treated women like shit, and look what happened.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that weird?
That's
it's
bananas.
So strange. Dad moved to Florida and fucking took advantage of women in hard positions, and then his son's a dick too.
Weird.
Super fucking strange, right?
Bananas, man.
Weird. So strange how kids will see things and then do it.
It's almost systemic and cyclical.
Isn't it strange? Wow. I bet. Now, hear me out.
Yeah.
I bet that if his dad beat his mother in front of him, I bet he'd hit women too.
I think that's a bit crazy.
Is it a stretch, Jimmy? Oh, no.
You're really reaching.
Shit. Or he'd hate people that do that. One of the two, because that's what happens.
No, that's the way I went.
It's kind of the only options, really, in society. No one's kind of lukewarm to domestic violence. No one's like, I could take it or leave it. No one says that at all about domestic violence.
That's true.
You're either like, fucking hit her if she has a problem, or you're like a normal person. Like, what are you, a crazy asshole? You're fucking hitting people?
I will be
one
honest,
of those two.
When my ex has made me mad, I in my head I saw my stepfather hit my mom, and I was like, "This is why he did it."
Yeah, but that's a natural reaction. But there's a difference.
I feel what he probably felt, but I didn't
something
do it.
And doing it. I'm sure wanted to murder people in traffic, and just in traffic, strangers that had no effect on your life other than a 2-second delay.
Jobs I've had, forget it.
It's understandable to have thoughts, but normal people control them and don't act like monsters and start fucking being violent with people, which is the problem here. Yeah. Apparently, it got worse because the spring before this, Cassava was acquitted. This was they went to court and everything, went to trial, was acquitted of intentionally running over Cataldo's toes with his car. He ran over her feet while she was, I guess he buzzed her. And, she was wearing like she was wearing like a size 10, and it was a little much for him. And he said, "Hey, we better move those fucking gunboats. I'm coming for you." And then this poor woman got her foot run over.
He just didn't know how wide his Mickey Thompsons were.
Right,
he got some bigger tires.
Insane, man. What a fucking ass! Who does that? He could have hit her. What if she leaned?
Yeah,
that's not good.
What if they're so big he takes the fucking shin? Knocks her down and then runs her over.
That's another problem. It happens. So this is the
speed off.
Lunatic. So wonder why she moved to Maryland.
Yeah.
Gee. Around the same time, Shirley Cassava, who is his grandmother, reported a break-in his trailer that he had, obviously, on the property, because every fucking story has a family trailer compound. I don't understand this. And she told police that a shotgun had been taken from the trailer that was there. So now there's a missing shotgun.
There's always a shotgun in the trailer.
Always a shotgun in a trailer. It's fucking nuts, man. And that's just what's there. Here we go. I promise next week it does not. Next week our story takes place in like a nice, like upper middle class home. That's a promise. I know the story already. So this one,
got a foundation and all that shit.
It's got, you can't tow it anywhere. It's built into the ground. So this that ended up happening there. So there's a shotgun missing. Now, also, Jeremy Heward is not exactly an angel either. Jeremy Heward hangs out with Kirkman Casavoff, and they do drugs. They're drug-doing pals.
Got it.
Court records also show that Jeremy had a violent record with his ex-girlfriend. He was convicted of 3 misdemeanor charges stemming from a 1998 violent incident where he was accused of beating, choking, and threatening the life of his then-girlfriend.
I mean, but was it during sex?
I mean, that's the thing. They didn't say that. Either way, she didn't come.
Got it.
So it's not okay. It's not okay at that point. She wasn't into it. That was the problem. Right. Either way, she ain't into it, whether it was during sex or not. So, beating, choking, and threatening the life of his girlfriend is not terrific, and he's actually convicted of this. Somehow those are misdemeanors. I don't know if choking your girlfriend's a misdemeanor. That seems worse. Choking's you could kill somebody with that.
Yeah.
That's kind of a lot, I think. That's
assault,
and then while you're threatening to kill them, if you're choking them, going, I'm going to fucking kill you, that looks attempted murdery to me. I don't know.
Misdemeanor assault.
That's misdemeanor. That's misdemeanor. Yeah, that's crazy.
Assault and battery.
It's just 3 misdemeanor charges is all I could get out of that. I mean, I'm sure if he pled, they'd lower him and that sort of shit. Like we had in A Crime in Sports a horrible sexual assault, and it was like attempted sexual assault he pled to. It's like, no, he did more than fucking attempt it, but for the years they take the plea.
At first you called this gross, and now it's just attempted.
Yeah, that was gross. So during the summer here of 2006, leading up to where we are now, so we have Kirkman and we have Jeremy. They're both kind of under the societal radar, we'll say. Neither of these guys are running for like a county commissioner anytime soon or anything of that nature. I feel like it's a pretty
shitbirds of a feather.
They're fringy, I would say. They like to hang out in Kirkman's trailer and do drugs. That's what they like to do.
It's probably his parents' trailer they own. It's not his.
No, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's turning it into a crack den or whatever it is the fuck they're doing.
Pretty much what he's doing here. Okay. So during the summer of 2006, Kirkman and Jennifer Heward are involved in a romance, Jimmy. Yeah. They're hooked up together. Kirkman and Jeremy hang out a lot. They're friends, and Jennifer kind of joins the group and starts hanging out and is hooked up with Kirkman Casavoff. So the 3 of them would hang out and use drugs together, basically, in the trailer. That was his house. Kirkman's house was the hangout for doing drugs. Yeah. You go to his trailer, you hang out, and you do a bunch of shit. So that's what they did, and everybody knows people who like to hang out. And that's their you need a place. They have their center of operations.
My sister did this in high school, and then she married the dude.
That's what happens. It happens a lot, honestly. I think there's probably a lot of those stories floating around.
I guarantee
America.
I mean, it's the safe place. It's the escape.
How our population keeps going. Right. It's one of the. Otherwise, we'd shrivel up and die. So, the trailer he lived on was on land owned by his grandparents. Well, it's in like a 90-acre plot of land that they have. So this is what I mean. It's big plots of land. That's why it's 32 square mile town, and it's kind of spread out a little bit here.
Coca-Cola pays well.
And Coca-Cola pays well, yeah. So, and who knows what, New Hampshire fucking woodland cost 48, 50, 60 years ago when they moved up there. Probably nothing.
And he's been there 48 years.
Yeah, he's probably buying, as neighbors die, he buys their land and shit like that. So, but Kirkman and Jennifer had a real stormy relationship, as a lot of people do with their like drug hangout people too. Those drug relationships get stormy.
They rarely stay together.
They stay together because they're both into it, because you have to explain the shit you're into to somebody new. It's like, all right, here's what I like to do. I like to get a bunch of fucking crank, right? Okay. I know. Stay with me. Whole bunch of crank, right? I like to go home and fucking do it, and then just like pace around my house and argue and get generally belligerent for a while, and then like 6 hours later I like to go out and get fucking more. Even though it's super late and it's sketchy, and we have to so are you in relationship? It's the worst speed dating I've ever heard in my life. Next. Have a good one. Fuck, are you talking about?
I would watch that dating show, though.
That would be great.
I'm into that.
That would be amazing.
Ben Bailey hosting that from Cash Cab. And
you're going to have to go through a few people before someone goes, me too. Holy shit. That's exactly what I want to do.
You're going to do a lot of crank today trying to find that person.
That's what happens, and they're entwined socially because her brother hangs out with him, and They're all enmeshed here, and they're all enmeshed with drugs and everything else, and they argue a lot. During that summer, there's a woman here named Crystal Sanborn, and she'll come up later on. She makes a telephone call to Jennifer, during which she can hear a man yelling at Jennifer, from what she describes as filled with rage, this voice was. She heard the man call her a whore and say that he was going to fucking kill her. I'm going to fucking kill you, you whore, is what he said. So that's a lot. Yeah. That's pretty aggressive, I would say.
Hacky.
It's hacky, yeah. I've never said that to a woman, I'll be honest with you. I've never said, I'm going to fucking kill you, whore. It's never fucking happened once.
I think I've called a woman a whore when I was young because I didn't know how to insult anybody.
To her face?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And she was a virgin, mind you, because we were
Jesus
like
Christ.
15.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I'm fucking saying.
Well, you're 15.
I think I've probably said that to more people too.
But yeah.
I think I've said it to a bolt when I couldn't get it loose and I busted my fucking knuckle.
Yeah. But
you cocksucking whore.
Well, the I'm going to kill you part, I feel, is a little more insulting, honestly. That's the aggressive part. The whore, I mean, that's bad, but it's a cherry on top of the aggression sundae, I would call it, of the I'm going to fucking kill you.
It really insinuates a bad thing's about to happen.
Yeah, so this is going on in the background, and this Crystal Sanborn's like, problem? I hear...
Jennifer?
Excuse me, whore? Are you going to be... are you going by that at home now? What's going on here? Either that or you're in trouble, and what the fuck is happening? Because if you're not okay with that, then we have an issue here. If that doesn't turn you on, then we have a fucking problem. The gonna kill you part too. Let's talk about that. That seems like whatever. So Jennifer explains to Crystal that it was just Kirkman who was yelling, and they fought all the time, and that's normal. So don't worry about it. Yeah.
That's my pet name?
She's like, she goes, we fight all the time. He's always just talking shit. Wow. Yelling, I'm going to fucking kill you, whore. Which is unacceptable.
Oh, don't mind him.
We don't give advice a lot, but ladies, if your significant other is yelling, I'm going to fucking kill you, whore, that's not a good relationship, and that's not okay to happen all the time, and please get some help if at all possible.
Ask your mom if that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Unless your dad did that to her, then we got a whole other fucking problem. So, in September, they ended up, like, over the summer, Jennifer and Kirkman were living together in this trailer. Like, she moved most of her stuff in there, and she kind of, basically just de facto lived there, and Jeremy would just hang out over there, and then he'd go back to where he lived. Which I think was with his parents, obviously. So September here, 2006, they have one too many fights, and Jennifer gets pissed off and takes all of her shit and moves out of the trailer and moves into her father's house. Now, at that point, though, she moved all her shit out, but her brother still hangs out with Kirkman because they hang out and do drugs, and so does she. She remains in contact with all of them because that's their kind of circle.
Nobody do drugs with.
It's their kind of circle, and it's fucking sad. I feel bad. I don't know what happened to Jennifer to make her feel like this was okay to be treated like this and to be there. And I don't know if it was a drug addiction or what the issue was. There's obviously something there. If you took a strong person and put them in the situation, they'd be like, "Fuck you. Eat dicks. I'm going to go over here. What are you doing?" I don't know.
I don't know if it's even just strong because somebody threatened to kill you, called you a whore, and then you had more fights and you moved out, but you're going to go do drugs with them.
But you're going to hang out and do drugs because it's, with drugs, Jimmy. That's the problem.
Is she getting them for free there?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We don't know.
We don't know what the financial situation of this is. How they're splitting up the check.
That's the thing, and that's their crew. Well, who knows? I mean, they plot and get drugs together. So it's just one of those things here. Now, September 19th, 2006. This night, Kirkman and Jeremy and several of their pals are hanging out in the trailer, all fucking doing a bunch of drugs, right? And we're assuming, by the way, they always say drugs in this, and from everything I could find, it's like it's a meth crank type thing here they're doing. It's that sort of deal.
It's not classy drugs.
They're not sitting around with piles of cocaine, wearing tuxedos with loosened ties, chopping it up with fucking, engraved razor blades here at $100 bills.
And swilling some really nice scotch.
This is some dirty speed freak shit going on here. This is marked up tinfoil is what we're talking about here. Burned up tinfoil pieces.
It's a lot of cloudy and yellow rocks.
It's
gross. So there's a bunch of people hanging out, having a little get together, I guess, doing this here. Now, a bunch of people left. Everybody leaves except for Jeremy from the trailer. Jeremy ends up hanging out with Kirkman further. They're kind of they're each other's bottom bitch here. They hang out together and they're down for each other. When everybody else leaves, they're like, okay, now how do we get more drugs?
Yeah.
Did you steal from that guy? Because I stole from that guy, type of thing. I don't know if Jeremy does that or not, but whatever. Either way, it's a drug thing. So after everybody leaves, Jennifer ends up calling Kirkman and asks to be picked up from a house, some friend's house in Franklin. Okay, so she calls her ex-boyfriend, who threatens to kill her, to get a ride away from, I guess, a worse situation. How bad is the situation in Franklin where you're calling this guy to get you out of it? Like, it's got to be shitty there. So Jeremy went with Kirkman. Her brother goes with Kirkman to pick her up, which seems fine, right? Yeah, at least the brother's there. That's good. And they won't get too out of hand, at least. So apparently during the car ride back to the trailer, and by the way, they went back to the trailer instead of taking her back to the father's house.
Why?
She didn't want to go back to the father's house, probably maybe to get high. I'm not sure. That's all I can assume. So they get back there, and on the way back there, Kirkman and Jennifer got in an argument, of course, because
who you blowing in there?
It's what I mean. I'm sure it was him being. Who knows what the fuck they were arguing about? It seems like these two were oil and water. They got together and arguments fucking happened. Period.
Well, and it's also an insecurity thing for dudes to know that the girl that they were sleeping with is with somebody else. What if he's better than me?
And we don't even know if she's with somebody else or she's with a girlfriend or with her grandma. We have no idea. She's in Franklin. Either way, they're arguing, and he's been doing drugs all night. So he probably isn't in the best state of mind either. And we don't know what state of mind she's in. She could be in just as bad a state of mind, or she could be fucking jonesing, or she could be fine and he could be going nuts because he has been doing drugs for hours. So this is a powder keg, this whole situation.
I'm just fascinated by jealousy too.
Well, jealousy is very fascinating.
That's a really shitty emotion that people feel. That I am so thankful that I don't feel that emotion. Ever. I'm just unwired. For it.
I used to feel it, but I don't know. I just burned out. I feel like
at some point
I had that till I was like in my 20s, and it's just like I don't know, whatever.
Go do you, bro. Be better.
You do whatever you want,
care.
and just fucking tell me about it, and that way I'll figure out what I'm doing in response to it. I don't know. What do you want from me?
Is it an inferiority complex? Is that what it is?
No,
I don't know what jealousy is.
I'm just the jealousy is. I thought you meant what I was saying. I'm like, I'm just tired. That's all it is for me. I just don't have the energy for it.
I'm just done with it.
I'm just tired, man. I don't know.
I just don't understand
otherwise,
what jealousy is. It's got to be an inferiority
thing,
right?
Inferiority complex.
That he fucks her better than him? Or?
It's not even that. It's anything. People feel like people are their property.
No, I mean,
And so it's like if somebody broke into your house and stole something from you, that's the way they're looking at it. It's a possession thing. That's the only thing I can think of. It's a possession thing, and you can't. And I'm sure it's jealousy. The root is different for different people, probably. Some people it might be an inferiority, or some people it might be a possessiveness, and some people it might be...
It's all just insecurity and just feeling weak, though, right?
Loneliness. But it's everybody. People are angry at fucking people they never met because they have a nicer house than them, or people get angry for people for a million different reasons.
So silly.
It's crazy. So jealousy is a big motivator for people, though. I mean, it is. People vote based on jealousy. People they take, different jobs based on jealousy. They literally change things in their life based on their weird...
Affect everything. They'll shake their whole life up based on being jealous of something.
Whatever their weird reptile brain is making them think. That portion of their brain that's weird.
Skip that shit, people.
It sucks,
Stop
man.
That.
It sucks, and people can't help it. That's a juice. How many things do we talk about where it's jealousy murder? It happens so often. It drives them that crazy that they fucking kill someone over it. So it's insane here. So they're arguing in the car, Jennifer and Kirkman. The argument continues after they arrive at the trailer, obviously. They keep arguing to the point where it wakes up a neighbor here who's apparently living on the property also, a guy named Mark Thompson. He lives in an RV nearby. The court documents listed as a recreational vehicle. Let's be realistic.
It's a trailer.
His house seriously has fucking wheels, and it's attached to them at this very moment in time.
And it's probably got a motor.
An RV. He lives in a fucking... It probably wasn't like $120,000 Winnebago Winnebago that like opens up, one of those bad boys. I assume this is like
it may require a motor. It might require a vehicle with a motor.
Yeah, it's probably an auctioned U-Haul truck that he somehow converted into a quote RV in the back there. I put a cot down, bolted to the wall and shit. That thing don't go nowhere. I just sleep back there. You could drive and I'll sleep in the back. I don't give a shit. It's an RV now, boy. I don't fucking know.
I just realized that it's the reason I don't have jealousy is because I don't assume I deserve anything.
Yeah, that's possible.
My low self-esteem and self-worth is why I don't give a shit about what everybody else has.
Man. That's a good point.
That is depressing.
Yeah. Well, it ends up breeding a good quality and not being jealous. Yeah. I just don't have the energy to give a shit. I think that's mine. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's inferiority or what, and that's the way I've disguised it in my own brain to make me feel better about myself. That I'm like, I just don't care. And it's probably just that I just assume that people, what the fuck do they want with me? Of course, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Passed over for everything else. Why not this too?
Whatever, yeah. Who knows? Except for the Discover Pod, best true.
Right. They seem to like
They
me.
liked us. They didn't pass us over, but everybody else does.
They thoroughly enjoyed us.
They liked us. So, so this Mark Thompson, he's living in the RV.
Okay.
He looks out of his window because he hears an argument. And so obviously, if you hear it right outside, you're going to look out and see what's going on. He looks out of his window to see Kirkman punching Jeremy.
Oh, boy.
Punching him and then throwing him to the ground. Okay. So Thompson yells out the window of the RV. I don't know if he had to roll it down. And I made a manual roll down gesture there. I don't know if but he yelled out the window to Kirkman, quote, "Don't kill him, Kirk." I don't know. I guess he just doesn't want a death outside the RV while he's trying to sleep, which is reasonable. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't want that either if I had a choice. By the way,
he punched him and threw him to the ground. Why do you think he's so strong that one punch kills people?
I have no idea. Well, I think if he saw him like punching him repeatedly and then he threw him to the ground, I think he's thinking he's in control of the situation.
Got it.
Why don't you stop fighting him now? Because it's not a fight anymore.
It's over.
Because he's on the ground.
Yeah.
So I think
it's not worth it, Kirk.
It's not worth it, Kirk. Damn it. You're going to go to the pen for that. So now come on over here in the U-Haul and let's smoke some crack. Now, Thompson gets dressed here because he figures that you might have to go out there and whatever, deal with the situation. Yeah. So he gets dressed and he looks out of his window again. And at this moment in time, so in the time it took him to get, first he's beating Jeremy, now he gets dressed and he looks back out the window and doesn't see Jeremy now, but he does see Kirk dragging Jennifer out of the door of the trailer by her feet, which you very rarely drag people by the feet voluntarily.
And it's typically or historically, generally, after something bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Usually not conscious.
Generally, people don't go, just drag me by my feet. That's not normally how it works. And if someone does need to be dragged, you do it by the arms so their head's up. And so it's not bouncing off the fucking shit that you're dragging them on. It's the usual way to do it. But apparently, he's dragging her out by the feet. So Thompson's like, holy shit. He just closes the fucking blinds and is like, I didn't see nothing. He just sits there and tries to figure out what the hell he's going to do now. Literally, he just maybe I'll just pretend I'm sleeping and this will all.
Hope he didn't hear me say don't kill him.
I'm dreaming, right? Yeah. This is a dream. I'm going back to sleep. But shortly after he sees this, this had to be the worst. Imagine you're this guy, you're Thompson. You fucking wake up to an argument, look out, you see this guy punching some guy, he's like, dude, what are you doing? Stop being an asshole. He's all jacked up on whatever drugs he's doing. Yeah. You go, you put your clothes on, you're fucking half asleep. Jesus, you look out, now someone's dragging by the feet, and you're like, that doesn't look good. Right. That looks corpsey. Right. I am going to fucking close my blinds and pretend nothing's happening.
Exactly.
Then you're sitting there for a few minutes, and then there's a knock on the door.
Oh, boy.
What does your stomach do at that point? How many fucking flips and cartwheels and...
God, I hope this is the cops and somebody called them.
The cops, this is the person he was dragging and they came to and they're fucking asking for help or a place to go or something. I mean, you are, whatever it is, you're just hoping, and if it is the guy you saw beating and dragging, you're thinking, well, does he want to do that to me now? Because I saw him beating that person. Exactly. Or worse, does he want help?
Yeah.
Does he want to talk? Does he think I'm his buddy now? Like, what's happening? So this guy, they know that he's there because he just yelled out, don't kill him out the window. So he can't just sit in the fucking in his U-Haul trailer or whatever the fuck it is. So he actually opens the door and Kirkman tells this Thompson, quote, I killed them. So Thompson's like, holy shit, that seems, what the fuck? I was sleeping 5 minutes ago. So Kirk at this point asks this Thompson for help. This is what I mean. This is worse than if he wanted to kill me. At least then I can try to fight him off. This, I gotta, what the fuck, man? This is a minefield to navigate.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson. You got a shovel?
You got a shovel? Well, is what he said. He asked this Thompson for help in dragging the bodies to the back of the trailer so he could burn them.
Okay.
He's like, look, obviously I've got two. Yeah, clearly he hasn't heard the show. I don't know what he's thinking, but he says, look, I got two bodies and, dragging's tough. So maybe you can grab an end. I'll grab an end. And, maybe you can help me build a fire.
You got a match?
Burn these fuckers up.
Yeah.
Thompson is obviously a little taken aback by this whole situation and isn't used to disposing of human corpses. So he's a little, leery, I would say, of the offer. So, Thompson responds, well, why are you doing it now? If you burn them at night, that's going to attract lots of attention. This is good middle of the night quick thinking because this is at like 4 a.m. Yeah. He said, it's fucking dark out. just wait. Because if you burn them now, it's going to be fire for everyone's going to see it from miles around.
Right.
So, that's the guy said, Kirkman's like, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Genius.
That's cool. He said, tell you what we'll do. We don't want to attract attention, and I really want to help you here, Thompson said. Obviously, I'm very concerned with your situation, so here's what I'll do. He goes, instead of burning them and attracting all this attention, I'll warm up the car, and then you can get because it's cold out. I'll warm up the car a little bit because I have a piece of shit, and we'll drag them into the car, and then we'll take them somewhere else and just dump them. That way you don't attract all this attention. Terry, you hold on just 1 second here. Let me fire it up, and I'll warm it up, and then he just drives away.
Brilliant.
He fucking drove away. He's like, I'm just going to warm up the car, and it's fine. And he's just like...
I'm going to go spin it around town a little bit. I'll be right back.
Is it down to 1? Down RPMs? And he's like, no, it's 1 more minute. And he just fucking puts it in drive and peels out. And the guy's like, you taking it for... back in a minute?
Around the block.
Around the block. Okay. Hand gestures. Like with his finger and then waving. Okay. He just never comes back. How long did he wait for him to come back?
He's on drugs, so he's like, how fast is time going? He'll be back.
He's pacing, walking around in circles. So this Thompson, the smartest man in this entire story, he decides, fuck this shit. I am driving away. I have no interest in this. Later on, a couple hours later, I don't know if he went and continued to sleep or what, but later on he ends up going to the police and reporting this whole thing. So this guy not only asked that he didn't kill the man, fucking tried to avoid the whole thing, and then drove away from a potential body disposal situation. Beautiful. Now he's reporting it to the cops too. He's pretty much doing everything a normal person would do.
Right.
Hey, don't kill him. Oh shit, that girl looks dead. Oh fuck, I don't want to be involved in that. I'll just warm the car up and then call it. He's perfect in this Thompson, to me.
He's the police station warming the shit out of this.
Sitting in the heat. So, to me, this guy is you can't, unimpeachable at this point, perfect. This man here. He's done everything right. So the police...
he gets rewarded with a big-ass U-Haul.
Something. They're going to give him the best impounded RV they can find. We took this one from an elderly drug dealer. It's just stocked. It's huge.
No miles on it.
Him and his wife Edna were going across the country on it because that's always been their dream. But unfortunately, they were unloading kilos of heroin along the way. So
only made it one trip.
One trip. You pop open a panel, you never know what you're going to find.
Poor Edna's
Be careful.
Hip gave out.
It happens. But they made a killing.
They did.
And they saw the Grand Canyon finally, which is their lifelong dream.
Look at the back of the RV. It has a sticker to prove it.
It's pretty good. See? Yeah, that's not bad. Yosemite? Wow, they got around. Is that Mount Rushmore? Excellent. Look at them. Wow.
Is that a KOA campground sticker?
The world's largest ball of twine. Look at that. Well, I'll be damned. These people, I'm fucking jealous.
They really
dead or not,
seen it all.
Dead or not, they knew how to live.
Meteor
That's the important
crater.
thing.
They found it.
They found it. Look at that. It's impressive. So, obviously, the police are curious to talk to old Kirkman Cassavant about this. See, they've been told quite the wild tale by this Mark Thompson. And a guy pulls in a shitty RV telling the story. You're probably like, let's calm down. Number one, let's talk about this. And so they end up doing an interview here with Kirk.
How fucking surprised was he when they pulled up? He's like, cool. He went and got help.
Hey, here he comes with the headlights. And he's come. Finally. He's fine. Oh, shit.
Those are red and
Did he
blue
bring friends? Oh, no. Uh-oh. Yikes. Okay. Wow.
I don't think they're going to help.
Not good. They said that at first they told him, hey, Jeremy and Jennifer are missing.
Yeah.
You know anything about that? Because people said, they saw him with you, so maybe you know where they went.
Right.
They, pull that old trick with people to try to get him to lie. And they said he did not appear either surprised or concerned to learn that they were missing. He was like, they're missing? Oh, yeah, that happens.
Bananas.
People go places. What do you want? He characterized Jennifer to the police at this point. This is fucking amazing. He goes, well, Jennifer, she's a miserable bitch, first of all. That's what he said to the cops. Quote, miserable bitch. Not she's miserable and she's a bitch separately. A miserable bitch is what he called her. He said she's a miserable bitch.
I got to jot that one down.
This fucking guy, a miserable bitch. That's what he calls her. To the police, who are saying, you're the last person they were seen with.
Right.
Anything about that? And he goes, that miserable bitch? Okay. Do you want
Why
to?
Is it so funny?
I don't know, because it's ridiculous. It's the craziest thing to say to a cop when they ask if you've seen someone that's missing because they've been seen with you, and you go, "That fucking bitch." That's not what you say.
He's clearly never seen any police investigation.
No,
because if you're the last person to see with them, you never insult them.
No, you'd be like, "Great girl, great,
best person."
We've had our problems, but you know what?
I love her.
We like each other so much, we still remain friends.
Right.
We said the romances; it just ruins our friendship.
Right.
We're like in more of an Elaine Jerry situation now than we really are of like a Sam and Diane.
Because I'll tell you, when we were together,
references.
It was a real Kim and Eminem thing.
It was a real Kim and Eminem thing. That's the problem. Unfortunately, it's turned into an Eminem lyric about Kim instead of just the actual relationship. And it's not good.
Right.
Just going to tell you that. It's not good. So, miserable bitch. Not the thing you want to tell the cops,
No.
I would say. Probably the dumbest thing you could say,
Truly.
honestly. And he states to the police that she and Jeremy left his house on foot, walked off into the wilderness off a 90-acre property, which I assume is surrounded by other large properties where it's probably not a compact urban center is what I'm getting at. There's probably
tons of trees.
There's probably not a Marriott fucking half a mile down the road they can trek to. I'm getting at here. He said this. They left on foot at about 4 a.m. After he and Jennifer had been in an argument. Right. He said, we got in an argument on the way fucking home. I picked that miserable fucking bitch up. Got a goddamn argument. I said, well, fuck off you and your goddamn brother. And they walked out of here on foot, and I ain't seen that bitch since. That's pretty much paraphrasing exactly what he said to the cops. Ridiculous. So the police began to press him a little bit about whether he killed them. He goes, well, maybe they didn't leave. Maybe you killed them. And he, at that point, they say his demeanor completely changed.
Whoa.
He started breathing quick and heavy. He slumped down in his chair. They said all the general signs of when someone killed someone and you confront them with it. Although he continued to deny any involvement in the killings whatsoever. And then he just abruptly asked that the interview be ended. And he's like, I'm not under arrest. Well, I'm fucking out of here, basically. I'm leaving. Yeah. We're not talking anymore. This is over with.
And then what?
And then they went, all right. Because at that point, they just have missing people. They don't have any evidence of. Okay. They haven't found Jeremy or they have Jennifer. They don't know anything.
Can you get a warrant based on
suspicion?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like I don't know.
4 a.m. is tough to wake a judge up.
That's the problem too. But it's later on in the morning. But I feel like they want to get some evidence before they actually do this because they don't know. This fucking Mark Thompson guy comes in. Maybe he killed him. I mean, you don't know. Yeah. All you have is his word, and he's a guy who lives in a fucking RV on someone else's property, so he's not the most upstanding citizen.
But now you got Mark Thompson back at his RV, and this sumbitch going back home.
Yeah, that's the thing. This guy's going back home about this whole deal. Now, based on what they do, they had to talk to him immediately. And now, also back at the station, based on what Thompson told them, the police are getting a permission from Kirkman's grandparents to search the property. Yeah. So they don't need the warrant because they're getting permission. They said, well, might as well try to get permission first. Just ask, and if they say yes, fuck it. If not, then we go get a warrant. Okay. I mean, shit. So what they end up doing is they bring in dogs and because that's a 90-acre property. Yeah. So they're like, they could be anywhere, any fucking where. Dogs and I mean, it was a huge undertaking.
It's a 50 square mile city or town.
It's a 32 square mile town, 90-acre property, which 90 acres is big, especially of woods and shit. Yeah. You need dogs, and they figure they're going to need some time to to comb this whole thing because, with all this property, it's probably deep in the woods or something.
That's like a half-mile square.
It's huge. It's a
so
huge area. But instead, directly behind the trailer, they found both of Jennifer and Jeremy's bodies in a debris pile, half burned. Because bodies, as we know, don't really burn well.
Not real flammable.
And not super. People try to set yourself on fire just for a second. It doesn't work, right? It hurts, but it doesn't work.
Right.
Your skin didn't burst into flames.
It takes a long time.
Your skin is not an accelerant, unfortunately, for anyone who's trying to, well, I guess fortunately for the rest of the world, but if you're trying to burn a body, that's not working out for you at all.
That's why those monks that sit down and self-immolate, is that what it is? Immolate?
Yeah, they have to soak themselves in fucking gasoline
for a long
first.
time.
Yeah, you have to be soaked and covered in it to
and then you
engulf.
light yourself up.
Yeah, and if you better make sure all the gasoline doesn't burn off before you die, or else you'll just be burned a lot. So burning is not a good way to go for people. It just doesn't work very well. So they try, though, and they find them in a debris. He just left them back there. 90 acres. He's like, right in the back should be fine. Fuck. Dude wouldn't help me drag them. What am I supposed to do?
I mean, they're heavy.
Fuck, man. Jesus Christ.
I barely got her out of the fucking thing.
Oh, man. Jesus Christ. He came down off his buzz. Because, you put some meth in you can drag bodies around a 90 acre. You can set them up and make a little play with them like a puppet show. You can do anything if you're on enough meth.
Oh, my God.
What, a murdering... That's a murderer.
I can see it happening.
A murderer on a lot of meth. What do you want? That could happen.
They've done way worse than marionettes.
I didn't say he was going to fuck them, did I? Shit, what's worse? What's worse? What would you rather be done to you? Yeah. Have you be danced around or used as a goddamn necrophiliac pincushion? Which one, Jimmy?
I think I might like the dance around.
Probably be better. That could be fun almost.
What's the matter? I'm dead.
Yeah, who gives
but
a
at
shit?
the same time, I don't necessarily want psychopath jizz dripping out of my nose.
That's a problem.
Horrible.
I don't want that. Or worse orifices
anywhere
than that.
else.
That's bad too. That is awful.
I just saw a marionette, like somebody like Weekend at Bernie's, giving themselves a hand job
with the marionette. That's terrible.
Moving the chain.
Oh no, I think that's worse. That makes it worse.
That might be worse.
Is that worse than necrophiliac pincushion? I think
so.
That's much worse.
Ugh.
Autopsies here reveal that Jennifer, she died within seconds of a gunshot wound to the chest. Is her initial death. We'll talk about. There's more. Within seconds. So that was a quick death. Jeremy died of multiple stab wounds and, quote, contributing gunshot wounds. So he was stabbed and shot a whole bunch. By the way, Jennifer also sustained a second gunshot wound to her shoulder. So he shot her twice, even though once was plenty. And she also had bleeding under the skin on her back, on the back of her head, that was consistent with having been dragged downstairs. She got bump, bump, bump. That's why I said when you're dragging a live person, you tend to drag them by the arms so their head doesn't hit anything. That's the point there. If you're dragging a live person, like we've all had to drag a child at some point.
Or a drunk friend.
Or a drunk friend. You don't drag them by the feet. That's not what you do. We've all had to do that shit.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, Jeremy suffered 12 stab wounds. 12. That's a fucking lot.
And then he shot him?
And this is in addition to, we'll get to that in a second. This is in addition to he was beating him up outside, as well as gunshot wounds to his face, back, and like ass area, like lower back, ass, like around there, back of the leg.
Wow.
That area. So he got stabbed 12 times and shot all over the fucking place, including in the face.
Yeah.
Which is crazy fucking shit. Marks on Jeremy's neck were also consistent with having been strangled.
Wow.
So Jeremy got the brunt of this. This was like, Jeremy was the one who really fucking
it
took it.
Yeah,
it seems like whatever rage he had that caused this. Jeremy was the focus of the rage. Clearly, like it might have been he got in a fight with her and Jeremy got in the middle of it and he took it and snapped on Jeremy, or it might have been a fight between those two. Who the fuck knows? We don't know.
Or he shot her and Jeremy freaked and then he's just why are you defending that whore?
Yeah, or
she's
something.
She's a miserable bitch.
Or he attacked Jeremy, and then she was like, "Why are you attacking my brother? Stop!" And then he said, "I'll fucking shoot you too." And who knows? That's the thing. We don't fucking know. Jeremy also, and so strangled, 12 stab wounds, shot in the face, back, ass. I mean, he's been shot all over the place.
Where's Thompson with the knowledge of gunshots?
None of that shit. Well, we don't know. That's the other thing. He didn't hear. We'll talk about Thompson in a second.
All right.
Marks on Jeremy's neck we talked about. He also sustained a forehead injury, Jeremy did, which was consistent with being struck with the butt of a rifle. Okay. So this is like possibly the initial attack.
Yeah.
Butt to the butt of the rifle, stab wound, shoot. I mean, this is a fucking lot, man. His body also had abrasions that were likely caused after death, which were consistent with being dragged also. Yeah. So they're building the case against him that he dragged them to this debris pile. According to the forensic reports, Jennifer's blood was all over the kitchen of this place. Yeah. All fucking over the place. Jeremy's blood was found on the carpet, the floor mat, and the walls. Kirk's bare footprint was discovered on the floor mat, which was covered in Jeremy's blood. They found a bare footprint in the blood, which this is all very incriminating. Yeah. That means that you were there when there was a lot of blood.
Yeah.
So at the very least, you saw puddles of blood, walked in it, and didn't alert anyone to this, and then said, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." So not great there. There were bullet holes all over this fucking trailer too. He shot a bunch of, so at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's at least had 5 shots just with them. There's a whole lot fucking more.
Okay.
This was just he went crazy here.
What kind of rifle?
There were bullet holes. We'll talk about it. Okay. And there are bullet holes in the front door of the trailer, in a wall beside the refrigerator, and in the refrigerator door. Okay. A bullet was removed from the bullet that they removed from Jennifer's body was identified as, it matched ballistics, the rifle from all of the gunshots all around the place. In the wall over here. A second bullet they found in the trailer was also same thing. So they matched all these bullets together. Okay. So he went nuts with one rifle shooting away. Also, Kirk's finger and palm prints were the only prints discovered on the rifle.
Oh, that's not good.
That's another thing. So footprint in the blood, prints on the rifle.
That's a problem.
Guy saw you dragging a lifeless woman out of your trailer, asked to help dispose of corpses of a man. This is building quite the case against him at this point here. Also, bullet holes found in the refrigerator had been freshly filled with caulking. So he immediately went and filled those up because I don't know if he thought maybe the cool air would leak out or something. So he went and filled those up, kind of like on The Wire when Bunk and McNulty went into that girl's apartment that D'Angelo shot, Avon's girlfriend, and they had to reconstruct the whole thing without talking. And they just said fuck a whole bunch of times, and they found a bullet hole in the fridge that had been covered up, and they ended up doing a trajectory of it and figuring out that she was shot from outside the window instead of inside the house, and that was how that happened. Similar. You wouldn't know about that, but very, very good scene.
Good police work.
It's good police work. Good, solid detective work there. Here. So finger and palm prints, all of that, and also a tube of that same caulking was found in his trash can. So he couldn't burn that in the debris pile. He was like, fuck it, it's caulk. I don't know. That ain't gonna get me nothing. Not great here. The senior assistant attorney general said that officers with cadaver dogs had to search the property and fields. They sent them all out there, and then they found him right behind the trailer. Basically, they had about a dozen police continue to search the grounds for maybe there's more. Who the fuck knows?
Hey.
If he's willing to just kill people, dump them outside while we're here.
Yeah.
Well, we have permission and we have the dogs out. Might as well fucking send them around the property, see what we dig up.
Run them on a sweep.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, that's a smart thing to do. So now they have to talk to him again. Mm-hmm. Now that first he was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm going to leave now. And then they got permission, went, searched, found the bodies, his footprint and all sorts of every bit of evidence possible. So now it's time to have another chat.
Yeah.
Some of your stories are a little inconsistent here. They get a second interview. This is after the bodies are found, like we said. They read him his rights this time. He said he would talk anyway. He agreed to speak with the officers, waive his rights. But after a minute, obviously, you can only have so much small talk in a murder interrogation. Yeah. He knows why he's there.
Right.
So you can only say, like, how's your mom? You know, grandma holding up with your grandpa's death? How's the Coca-Cola factory? For so long before you...
he left 2 years before
2 years?
2 years?
So you're going to that parade? The one with the good... Are you going to win the Good Citizen Award? Are you up for that? I don't think you're up for that.
talk about why you're not, sir.
Let's talk about why you're not going to win that award. So the conversation eventually quickly turns to his potential involvement in the murders, obviously. It's at that point that he invokes his right to remain silent. So they arrested him, obviously. They're like, you don't want to talk? We're going to fucking arrest you anyway. Fine. Yeah, no problem. They lock him up. While in the booking area, because now they have to process him and all that, while in the booking area, he was agitated and pissed off at the whole process. And out of nowhere, he just yells out, quote, I didn't kill them. They attacked me. Out of nowhere. So, number one, I didn't kill them. They attacked me are two separate things.
I'm just trying to get your fingerprints, bro.
They attacked you, or you didn't kill. So you killed them? They attacked you, so you didn't kill them? I don't understand what you're telling me.
I'm not even a cop. Just turn your head. I just need the profile. Just come on.
Yeah. Dude,
they don't even let me go out on the street yet.
Bro, it's 2 shots. It's 2 shots. I don't need you to. I'm not asking you to have a certain look. I don't need you to look pouty, look longing. Just fucking stare.
Look at me. Look away. It's that easy.
Dead-eyed stare, my friend.
I don't even care about this. I don't care what you're here
just
for.
Roll the finger.
The next guy's just here for a DUI. I don't give a shit
He's
what
not
your
gonna
charge
yell
is.
shit.
It doesn't matter.
So at that point, later on, he makes, just out of nowhere, as they're walking him through the jail, he just says, quote, this all stemmed from me being kicked in the balls and pushed into my TV. And they're like,
you'll get your time to talk. Just go in here. I thought you said you didn't want to talk.
You keep talking, though.
You're awfully chatty for somebody that doesn't want to talk.
It's almost like he didn't expect them to arrest him, and then they arrested him, and he's like, well, I can just say something that'll make them let me go.
Right.
Like, they kicked me in the balls, like they were going to stop and go, oh, wait a second.
Did you say the balls?
Did you say he kicked you in the balls and then you were pushed into your TV? Now, if you were only kicked in the balls, I'd say fine to kill one of them. But that's 2 infractions, a kick in the balls and a push into the TV. So I'd say, let's get those cuffs off you, sir. I'm sorry. Are those too tight? We're very sorry.
Jesus.
The food has been terrible the last couple of days. Can we order you something? Because I have Uber Eats on my phone. I'm happy to get you something. This is ridiculous.
You have black shit on your finger. Get me an
guys,
alcohol
we fucking arrested this guy for they kicked him in the balls, guys. Of course he burned him. What do you expect?
His hands are still black,
you guys. This is ridiculous. He hasn't had a decent meal since last night. Can we get something?
He's a third, you guys.
Can we at least get like an Outback delivery going? Something, like a mid-range steakhouse possibly. And let's not go crazy here, but
his grandfather didn't make it to 50
come on,
years.
Jesus fucking Christ.
He was going to get a Coke watch.
Do you know that he's going to get a Coke watch? And so is his father from different Coke down in Florida. He also got a Coke watch from his company connections. It's perfect. Everyone's got Coke watches.
Except for his grandpa. He didn't make it.
He got nothing. He didn't get it. So during the course of that second interview, by the way, at one point the police informed him, obviously, that a forensic team searched your property. And, we found bodies there. So that's why you're sitting here in front of us. They asked him, quote, what do you think we found? And he said, quote, I don't know, but that's just what you said you were going to tell me. So they were just like... I don't know what that means. That's just what you said you were going to tell me.
I just said, what do you think we found, man?
Yeah, because they said, I guess we're going to find those bodies, aren't we? And he said, I don't know. And then they said, what do you think we found? He said, that's just what you said you were going to tell him. He's very unclear. I feel like he's coming down from a pretty good high. And
he's crashing hard.
He's not real lucid at this point. So they just said, fuck it, let's just arrest him for first-degree murder and do all that. So like I said, they process him, all of that. It's first-degree murder in the death of Jeremy Heward and second-degree murder in the death of Jennifer Heward. I don't know if that is based on the egregiousness of the attack on Jeremy. Seemed to be worse. I don't understand what that is exactly. But Cassavaw's attacks, they say, during the arraignment, the prosecutor says they were fueled by drugs and alcohol. He said that because they have the Heward's father and the arraignment talk about their history, and he said that a lot of drugs and alcohol with the couple, and that he knew about this abuse. The whole family kind of knew that he was a dick and he was abusive to her. She, by the way, was a retirement home worker. The daughter, Jennifer, she worked in a retirement home. She was too afraid, he said, to report the abuse to the police. She was too afraid of him, which is fucking horrible. And especially for the father to do that, he must feel guilty also. He said, quote, she never turned him in. She was too afraid of what he might do. So, I mean, there's a lot of people in that fucking boat. I would say, that's not an uncommon position.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's so uncomfortable.
It's super uncomfortable.
You got to confront somebody on something terrible, then hope that they fucking handle it well.
And then hope they act like an adult, even though they obviously don't, because they beat you up when they're angry. So it's very it's ridiculous. He also testified, the father did, that Jeremy lived at home with him, and that he had no idea why Jeremy went to go see. He doesn't know why they went to pick the sister up from Franklin. She doesn't. They're like, well, what was? They were trying to put that together. He has no idea why, because Jeremy was out doing drugs. He didn't leave from the house. The father also, he described his son as a loving and protecting older brother, which, I mean, obviously you're gonna have that. During the same, this is awesome. During the same hearing, the preliminary hearing, Kirkman is attacked by a guy in the courtroom.
Really?
Fucking tries to get him. Tries to go over the fucking fence at him. Yeah, like a family member of somebody.
I like him already.
And this was the person they were related to. The person that sent us, I think, was related to this guy. Who's whatever. This guy is Michael Griffin, who's 22. He ends up being charged with criminal mischief and disorderly conduct and resisting arrest.
Earned it.
He earned it. Fuck it, yeah.
Hero.
I guess the outburst came as people were standing at the end of the arraignment hearing. This guy jumped over the railing and lunged between the spectators area and Cassavaugh, and he was caught by deputies. The deputies, as they got him, they said he never touched him. He never touched him.
Yeah.
You know, to say that there's no no contact.
Charges, right.
But he tried to. He fucking dove over the thing at him and tried to get at him. So
I hate you, Jeffrey. I hate you, girl from the Jeffrey Dahmer trial.
Yeah. He's the one that everybody's like, yeah, good.
Fucking go get him, sir.
Yes, that's the thing. And it's like the Fred Goldman thing.
Yeah.
For some reason, I would like Fred Goldman more if he did that.
Yeah.
I would be fine with that. I could understand your emotional thing like that. But to just sit there with your mustache and look for money, I feel less.
I'd respect deputies a lot more if they'd maybe hesitate a couple seconds before they go get them.
Yeah, that's true. But that's their fucking job. Yeah. If they don't, then the state can be sued, and then they get, it's a big fucking money thing. I don't know,
kind of look down at your shoe and be like, I thought my shoe was untied. I didn't see what was going on. I missed it.
The guy was fast. Did you see him? Jesus,
it's a blur.
He's probably a UFC heavyweight champion, I would assume. I don't know. I didn't want to get in the middle of that. So yeah, this happens here. So he's arraigned now, and they have a pretty strong case against him, and it only gets stronger because now they get some evidence from a cellmate of his. The detectives with the state police major crimes unit interview a guy named Corey Donovan here. This guy he's a convicted bank robber who was jailed with Cassavaugh at the House of Corrections, the whatever it is, Belknap County House of Corrections. This Donovan told these investigators that he and Cassavaugh shared a cell, and so they spent about 20 hours a day locked up together, obviously. And during that time, they began to talk. They said that Donovan Cassavaugh started giving out some of the details of the crimes during their conversations here. This Donovan said, quote, I kind of fished a little bit. I would be like, don't tell me that shit. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what the fuck you did to anybody. He said, I kind of fished a little bit. I'd ask little questions and I'd get responses. And I basically got to learn a little bit more about his case each day as he just let things slip that he wasn't even thinking, what the fuck? He let things slip.
You telling me a criminal, a guy in prison, doesn't have a
convicted bank robber? He let things slip that he wasn't even thinking that I'm remembering right. I don't know what that means, but these are exact quotes. So the and the ahs and the stammers and everything. During the interview, he also told investigators that he learned from Cassavaugh. It's a .22 rifle, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. I wanted to get to that with the forensics here. That when the police seized the rifle, that a .22 caliber handgun from his home, which is a Walther handgun, is still missing. That's what this Donovan told him. Is he told me you didn't get his handgun.
Got it.
And Donovan says, that's the one you guys were looking for, right? Because that's what the guy told him. They're going to be looking for that gun because I guess he used that gun to shoot also. So according to this whole interview here, this Donovan says that Cassavaugh wanted to kill, Cassavaugh, he's telling him all this Donovan, because Cassavaugh wants Donovan to kill Mark Thompson, the guy in the RV, who's a key witness in the case. He's like, look, we'll do, then he does like some throw mama from the train shit here with like, He said that Cassavaugh he wanted him to, he didn't help him with the bodies, so now he's going to testify and he wants him. So Donovan says that he and Cassavaugh hatched a plan, which they discussed that if Donovan was released on an electronic monitoring bracelet, because that was part of his case possibly, that he would go to Thompson's home in Belmont and photograph him, which is weird. Donovan would then visit Cassavaugh in jail to show him the photo to make sure he found the right man. So rather than just say, here's his description and address, he wants him to go take a picture of him and then bring it back to jail to identify, which seems a highly complicated way to do this whole thing here. But this was the plan they have, which is fucking nuts.
Why don't you write a letter and send the picture, and then if you get a yes or no, then
it's possible.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Fucking show a guy a picture. Then by the time you go back, what if the guy's gone?
What if he changed clothes or fucking did his hair different, put a hat on? So
shaved his face.
Fuck, man. So this Cassavaugh here, Donovan suggested to Cassavaugh that if the missing gun turned up, basically like if you tell me where that gun is, I could hold Thompson at gunpoint and make him and make him load the murder weapon and then shoot him with it, making it look like he committed suicide with the murder weapon.
Oh boy.
Holy shit, what a brilliant fucking thing. Get two idiots together in a jail, and that's going to solve the whole thing. Yeah. Mark Thompson couldn't take the guilt of it all. He had the gun. His fingerprints are all over these fucking bullets, and he's the one who did the shooting. So apparently the shootings happened with the pistol, and he just hit Jeremy with the rifle butt.
Got it.
So we don't know if he hit him and then stabbed him, and then my thought is he probably hit him with the rifle. Yeah. He went down, started stabbing him. That's what I'm thinking, because a gunshot's loud. Then she came over, tried to break it up. I feel like he shot her and then said, fuck it, bang, bang, bang with Jeremy too at the same time. That's my theory of the case, but what the fuck do I know?
There's a hole in this plot, though, especially these are criminals and they're not very smart because they're caught. What if Donovan hands Thompson the gun while it's loaded and Thompson just goes, fuck it, and shoots him?
That's the thing. I'll hold him. Okay. That's what I wanted to get back to.
Fuck
that
you,
too.
Bang, bang.
I could hold him at gunpoint and make him load the same weapon that I'm holding on him.
Right.
How does that work?
How's it going to happen, sir?
How does that happen?
I don't understand. You're going to have to hand him a gun and tell him to load it.
But you're going to have to bring another gun.
Now you've armed the man that you're holding.
Well, you have no gun because you gave him the gun because that's the gun you were going to hold on him. This is just absolute.
This is a dumb plan.
These people are like Coen brother movie criminals. You know what I mean?
I'm an idiot, and I've already found the flaw.
That's the thing. Yeah, that was the big gaping thing here. So then he's going to take the then loaded weapon away from him and shoot him with it, but make it look like he committed suicide. So wow,
how you can do that?
Put it in his hands. So you got to get powder on his hands. I mean, there's a whole. I don't think they thought about the forensics of the whole thing. Right. I'm going to say here.
I don't think they've seen any of these shows. None of them. They've never heard this, obviously.
So they asked Donovan here, how did Cassavaugh react to this fucking idea of a plan? He says, quote, Cassavaugh's eyes lit right up. He was like, yeah, if you get out, he says, that's an awesome idea. And, but he didn't want to go into where the gun was, what I had, what had happened to it, he said. So he didn't want to go into what happened to the gun is his quote, but he stutters and fucking stammers with every sentence he says. He says, at that point, I say, yo, I'm not out, so I don't really need to know that anyway, so don't worry about it. Yeah. So he's like, he didn't want to look like he was digging for information. So he's like, well, yeah, I'm in here anyway, so don't even worry about it. Maybe when I get out, it'll be different, but for now, fuck it. Right. He says, and Jesus Christ. And the guy says, and I've been shot with a 22. And I said, it didn't even hurt. That's what he told me. He was trying to tell him, like, hey, a 22 is not that bad to get shot with. Like this, boy. I'll shoot this guy, no problem. So then the guy, he says that Cassavaugh says, well, when I shoot people, I aim for the head. Yeah. That's what Cassavaugh said. So he told this man, when I shoot people, I aim for the head.
Well, you hit a girl in the chest and the shoulder. You're a bad shot. You hit a dude in the ass, man.
He did shoot him in the face.
That's a real bad shot.
Yeah, also the face, though, which was
once
right on target.
You aim for the face, and then five out of five shots, one hits
and
it.
It's probably the two while he was squirming, and then when he's dead, he shot him once in the face, which is crazy here. He said, and he told me a bunch of times he had to call people to remove Jen and Jay so he wouldn't have to kill them because of their crackhead behaviors. That's what, so Cassavaugh is claiming they were constantly driving him nuts several different times. He had to like have other friends get them the fuck away from him so he didn't kill them because of their quote crackhead behavior, which doesn't include dragging corpses out to the back of your trailer to burn. That's not crackhead behavior or anything thing. Yeah. Also says that they discussed wiring a bomb while in the jail together, wiring a bomb to explode beneath the driver's seat of Thompson's car.
Home.
And home. I don't even know what. Or there's another option. So far, it's get him to load a weapon and then kill him with the same weapon after he's, for some reason, given it back to you, and then that'll implicate him. Or wiring a bomb to explode beneath the seat of his car home.
Have you seen Casino?
And Scarface, we can get a remote one and drive behind him. Or here's option 3, dropping a test tube containing acid into the neck of the gas tank so that when Thompson filled up, the mixture would explode in his face. This is a real idea that human beings said might work. What the fuck are you thinking? Are they 10? Who?
And they're gradually going from murder to like childhood prank.
I was going to say they're 10, and at some point in this meeting of the minds, the Wile E. Coyote got up and said, "I'm out. This is getting too silly. I'm out, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, I was in up until the acid exploding, and this doesn't work.
Does this devolve into making him sit on a whoopee cushion?
This is so fucking ridiculous, man. What the fuck is going on? Jesus Christ. Explode in his face. What is
this?
This is ridiculous. Jesus Christ. Donovan also believes that if he were released under federal monitoring conditions and was, quote, given some help, that he could learn the location of the murder weapon. So he's trying to use this to get out, too. Yeah. He's like, look, if you let me out now, then I'll, quote, follow through on the plot, which I'll get the murder weapon for you. I'll be a big hero. I'm going to win that Good Citizen Award down in Belmont.
You let me out on this bank robbery charge, bang.
Bank robbery to Good Citizen.
I'll never do another bank.
Never. It'll look so much better on my resume.
You guys will have the gun. Win-win, babe.
I think everything's fine.
And your banks are safe. Win-win-win.
Shit, I'm cool.
There's so much winning. I'm going to win that award.
We're all going to win, especially me, that fucking award. I hope it's a medal I can wear around my neck so everyone can see it. Or a giant key. I'd like to have that. I'll put it right on my dashboard.
I want a real one that fits every lock in this motherfucker.
That's it, especially the banks. But I'm not going to use it. I'm never going to use it. But if I could just have the key, it'll show me how much trust you have for me and how much I've grown. That's the thing. You can say, look, now he was a bank robber. Now we've rehabilitated him to the point where we can trust him so much we just give him keys to the vaults.
Now make me holiday cheermeister.
Also, I might want to go get a Subway sandwich at 2 a.m. because they're not open late. And I'm hungry.
Sometimes
it happens. So I just make my own. Don't worry about it. I don't need anybody there. I know how to make a sandwich. What the fuck? I won't toast it. I won't make a mess. Don't worry. Just I'll clean up. So Crystal Sanborn also told investigators of the threats. She's the one who was talking on the phone and heard, "I'll fucking kill you, you whore."
Right.
She's that one there. She obviously has to talk to the cops about that.
You sound like a speak and spell.
"I'll fucking kill you, you whore." "I'll fucking kill you, you whore." Every time you pull the string. Oh, it landed on that one again. Shit. "I'll fucking kill you, you whore." What the fuck?
God, Jesus, that's great.
That is the worst speak and spell ever. It's a good one, actually. That's what we
solid,
need.
Yeah.
A small town murder speak and spell. Never mind ringtones, text alerts. Small town murder speak and spell. Wow.
Oh, fuck. It's Stephen Hawking threatening his wife. "I'll fucking kill you, you whore."
"I'll fucking kill you, you whore." Which kind of sounded a little Casey Kasem-esque too on that one. "I'll fucking kill you, you whore." Coming at you.
Ah, Jesus.
All the way to number 1, it's "I'll fucking kill you, you whore." Top 40.
Right out of a slow song. It's fucking ponderous.
Fucking ponderous. That's an old reference. You'd have to listen. I don't even know what.
Dedication to a goddamn dog?
Goddamn dead dog dedication of coming out of an upbeat fucking record.
I think he says upbeat number.
Upbeat number. That's what it is. I was looking for the old-timey term. Record number.
Number.
It's number.
From an upbeat number?
An upbeat number.
Fuck you, Casey.
Yeah, that's great. Jesus Christ.
I miss you, buddy.
Oh, God. So, Crystal Sanborn, they get all of her, statements on tape and all that kind of thing. And they want, obviously, to admit that threat as as evidence of his general demeanor toward her and the fact that he was willing to fucking kill her. Right. So they also Donovan told police that the whole thing about Mark Thompson quote, and they're in court in the preliminary shit, they're trying to rule out all this stuff, the defense is, and they said, the prosecution said, quote, the defendant's statements are relevant because they are probative of his state of mind at the time of the murders, his intent to kill Jennifer Heward, and his consciousness of the guilt and identity of himself as the killer. So this all makes sense that you would put that in there and not want it. Of course he doesn't want somebody saying, I'll fucking kill you, admitted in there.
Whore.
And, you whore. And the guy in prison who's coming up with Wile E. Coyote fucking witness attacks.
The craziest.
Which, why would you want to kill these people if it wasn't true? So, at trial, the state, I guess, has to prove that he killed these people and acted within the requisite mental state of what they're trying to say he was. They're trying to set up a mental state and then say he was in that state and he killed those people. Right. So they need for a first-degree murder charge, the state must prove that that Kirkman's mental state was, quote, purposely with premeditation and deliberation. Okay. Which, that's a lot of kill. He killed Jeremy in 3 different ways, so I would call that pretty deliberate.
Can they get him on 3 charges of murder for that?
That shit was not accidental. Let's put it that way. Yeah. They said, quote, since there's no way to examine the inner operations of the defendant's mind, his state of mind and intent must be evaluated in light with all the facts and circumstances surrounding the victim's death. That's what they say in the official motion, why they're going for first-degree murder and all that sort of thing. Now, here we go here. Now, according to a transcript of an interview with Crystal Sanborn, there's more to her story besides just, I'll fucking kill you, you fucking whore. Crystal Sanborn tells him about one time she went to the trailer of Cassava to pick up her brother Frederick, who was hanging out there, and that that night, for whatever reason, he got mad at her. Cassava got mad at Crystal and held a 9mm pistol to her head.
Holy shit.
So this is another character thing to add. Not only is he threatened to kill people, but then he holds guns to a woman's head for fucking no apparent reason.
Threatening to kill her.
I would say a gun to your head without even verbalization is a threat of killing at that point.
I think that's worse than I'll fucking kill you, you whore.
I'd rather be called a whore than have a gun to my head, definitely. So, fuck, man. I guess the week before they were killed, the Hewards, Sanborn told the police that she was with, she didn't tell them a week before, she was telling the police that this happened a week before the deaths. She was with Jennifer Heward at a home, and that Cassava came over, took Jen and slammed her head off the door. So this is just the Thursday before the killings. So this is within a week of the killings. He, in front of other people, blatantly and deliberately bounced her head off a fucking wall, off a door. So that's crazy. Yeah. That's insane. Domestic violence is crazy enough, but when people start doing it just in front of people, they don't even have any shame in it. You're like, Jesus fucking Christ. That's been
going on way too long.
Yeah. Crystal said, quote, she came running back in the house crying, and where Kirk had pulled a gun on me before, I was completely scared, so I left. She didn't want to get involved. She's like, the guy held a fucking gun to my head 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to get involved here. Sanborn also here to Crystal told the investigators about the that Cassava would call Jennifer Heward's father's home regularly. He'd call her father to threaten to kill Jennifer. Wow. I'm going to kill your fucking daughter. Like, this is what, I mean, this was no secret that this was the relationship. There was no secret whatsoever.
What's going on with that dad? Has he just been like, my daughter's out of control? Her boyfriend's calling me, threatening shit.
And she's 26 years old, and they're all been doing drugs, and the older brother's into drugs, and I think he's just fucking tired. He's probably been dealing with drugs and kids for 15 years, and he's just like, you know what? I don't even know anymore. I don't know. They're out there doing shit. This one, who knows who she's with this week because they're on drugs, and if he doesn't know, he's the father. They don't discuss intricate things. It's the old
frog in the hot water thing.
It sucks,
you put a frog in hot water, and it jumps right out. You put it in cold water, gradually turn the heat, and it'll cook itself to death.
That's the thing.
That's what's... Because if you call my
over
house,
15 years. If this happened at 15, if when she was in the 10th grade, somebody called and said, I'm going to kill your fucking daughter, blah, 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 there'd probably be shit done about it. But over this time period, you just give up,
or my daughter's 26 and somebody calls my house talking about they're going to kill her. I'll meet you somewhere.
Exactly. Unless it's been a long thing. And I don't know. None of these people went to the police. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Crystal Sanborn said, quote, whenever she was out with somebody, he would call her phone and say that he was going to kill her if she didn't get home. So obviously jealous. Quote, she said, quote, I know a lot of it was due to drugs. She would steal his drugs and get high while he was out working or whatever, which was then he'd get pissed off, beat the shit out of her because he came home and expects his drugs there, and then they're not there. He beats her up. They have a big fight. Then they end up getting more drugs and everything's fine for a while. It's fucking crazy. This whole relationship is crazy. And that's coming from her friend. At trial, he's indicted on 6 counts of murder of this whole thing here. The big ones are the 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of second-degree murder with respect to each victim, because they give them an option of first or second just in case they don't want to convict him on first.
Got it.
They're not going to let him walk on that shit. So all that sort of thing. The state successfully moved over Kirkman's objection, to admit the testimony of Crystal Sanborn, as I would say, constant fucking violence against this woman, as well as a bunch of the transcripts and videotape recordings of the 2 police interviews with Kirkman. He didn't want to have that shit in there because he looks bad. If you can see his body language change and his demeanor change, and everybody's seen that on fucking Law and Order and First 48 and everything else, they go, oh, he's guilty.
I bet it happened on
Look
The
at
Wire
that.
once or twice.
I bet once or twice on The Wire it did happen, except when you'd interview the crew. Most of the drug crews, like if you get Bird in there, when you got Bird in there and said, did you kill somebody, he threatened to quote, he threatened to fuck Kima, quote, in all 3 holes. So that was his response to it. You let me out of this cuff, bitch, I'll fuck you in all 3 holes. That's what he said.
So this person's a cop?
No. The person was a drug gang's enforcer.
No. Who's the drug gang enforcer threatening to all
a police detective? Okay, a police detective, a lesbian police detective, by the way, who has no interest. Okay. Yeah, and then he calls her several, obviously, lesbian slurs. Of course, it's a pretty decent diatribe. You're just like, wow, he was passionate about that. Holy shit, that's a lot.
All 3 holes.
A little too much.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's not great. So. This whole they keep the testimony in, though. It doesn't end up getting bounced out, thankfully, because her testimony is really relevant. I would say it's super fucking. It's not like it's 10 years, and they cite a case based on New Hampshire state law that it doesn't have to be like 5 minutes before. The threat could be, because there's a case where a threat was made 3 years before the event happened, and they let that in and allowed that as a sufficient threat. So if they're saying, well, that was 2 weeks, that's way closer than fucking 3 years. So eat dicks. But that's the legal justification for that.
In the case where it was 3 years, did they get convicted?
Yes, they ended up being convicted. That was considered a threat, and that was a big part of the conviction. Also, the threat made under the circumstances similar to the events on the night of her death. Also, it was the same type of thing. The threat was made during the course of a heated argument between them. Evidence of the prior threat also went into whether he intended to kill her when he shot her, because he was saying if he's threatened and he's thought about it and then he does it, that's premeditated and deliberate is what they're trying to get at. And they're also they're saying that the court ends up allowing all this in. He tries to argue that there's a prejudicial effect that outweighs the probative value of the whole thing, but they disagree. The court says, quote, because the issue of the defendant's intent was central to the trial of this matter, the probative value was significant, which I think is fucking exactly correct. Sure. There is a 3-part a test here to establish admissibility of evidence here. 3-part test to see if it's admissible. 1 is the evidence must be relevant for the purpose other than proving the defendant's character or disposition. So it has to have some evidentiary quality. 2, there must be clear proof that the defendant committed the act. And 3, the probative value of the evidence must not be substantially outweighed by the prejudice to the defendant. So they have to weigh it along with all the other evidence. They can't give it extra weight. And it also has to be like, they have to believe that it happened. It's the second thing. It's got to be fair, which makes total fucking sense here. And they rule that it is admissible. Kirkman contends that the interview ended abruptly at that he showed the jury, like the tape ended abruptly. He said, which could have led the jury to infer that he asserted his right to remain silent, which would have made he feels look guiltier in the tape. That's why he doesn't want that tape being shown like that. Not because it looks like he killed his fucking girlfriend or her brother, obviously. He also argues that most of the interview contains no evidence against him and amounts to little more than, quote, casual conversation. But body language is a lot lot, and that's what they're trying to show these people, that it is. Also, he concludes that he says the prejudicial effect of the evidence substantially outweighs the probative value, and the court says, no, fuck off. So the evidence, the other witnesses come in, the videotape shit comes in from him. All that shit is in everything here. The trial court determined that because his demeanor visibly changed when the conversation turned to the murders, that the interview appeared to reveal the defendant lying to the police about what they would find in a search of his property, and that's obviously important in a fucking murder trial. I would say here, the state also asserts that a defendant's conduct after a homicide, including his attempts to conceal the killings, as well as any statements he makes or facts that the jury will be instructed to consider in determining whether the defendant committed first or second degree murder, or any fucking murder at all for that matter. So that's the only insight they have. Basically, they said they can't read his mind, like we said before. They asked the big deal was him. When they asked, what do you think we found on your property and all that, that's what he wanted to keep out. Now, the defense here, wow, what do you say? You're the defense in this.
They're crazy.
Everyone's lying. They're all on drugs.
What a railroading.
Fuck, man. I bet it was that Mark Thompson. And that Crystal Sanborn. I bet they're fucking. I heard they're fucking.
She is a miserable bitch.
Miserable bitch and a bit of a whore. I'm just going to say right now. Just going to say it. Bit of a whore. So
we're real close to Salem. I'm going to guess witches.
I say we should probably burn her. I don't want to accuse nobody, but if we burned her, I would not be upset about it. So we're burning Crystal? Okay.
I think that these was witches, too. The two that they burned.
Oh, absolutely.
These was witches.
Big witches.
And that's, listen, my man didn't have nothing to, he saved y'all from witches.
Don't you understand
He
that?
deserves the holiday cheermeister.
One witch, and now he's trying to save you from another with that Crystal Sanborn. That's two witches. He's up two witches.
Witches and a warlock.
And a fucking warlock. That Jeremy, that runs in the family. Don't you understand? Witch, warlock, they're brother and sister. Same shit. I'll tell you that right now, boy. So these two here, the defense of this is their alternate theory of the crime, because they need to present fucking something.
They got to.
They present that this whole thing was related to a failed drug deal involving several area men, but not Kirk. He had nothing to do with any of this shit at all. That's what his public defender said anyway. She said, quote, Jennifer and Jeremy Heward were murdered, but Kirk Cassavaugh is not the murderer.
Okay.
So obviously that wasn't a suicide, but fuck. She, even the defense attorney admitted on first glance that Cassavaugh looked pretty guilty.
Yeah.
He said, look, I'm not going to lie to you. It looks bad, but there's problems with the case.
Right.
Okay. First of all, the schedule of the testimony of Mark Thompson. This guy, forget about it. They said that, the guy who says, quote unquote, that he saw Cassavaugh violently beating up Jeremy and then dragging a limp corpse of Jennifer from the structure. That's fucking nuts. She says, the defense attorney says, what the police did not know was that Mark Thompson was withholding information from them. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing that they say here.
So she's saying step back and stare at it, and stare at the case real good. It's like a painting in the mall.
You just unfocus your eyes.
And
that's what you do.
A sailboat.
You unfocus your eyes, spaceship right in front of you. So she says that Thompson is covering up the involvement of a man named Jack Vincent of Northfield and Jeff Terrallo of Laconia, who were friends of both the Hewards and Cassavaugh, who were, quote, looking to recoup from a drug deal gone bad, but Kirk was not involved in any of that, so he didn't know what was going on. He just said, what the hell happened? I've been framed. Oh, my God. So this is the OJ defense, is exactly what it was. Even though it's clearly me, it was drug deal gone bad. Those fucking Colombians, man.
They're everywhere.
Except these aren't Colombians. That was like a guinea from fucking Jeff Terrallo of Laconia, New Hampshire. Some fucking guinea and Jack Vincent. So, yeah, no. She also told the jury, this is 8 men and 8 women total, and then they can peel off the 4 alternates, that the defense team would not be able to clarify who did kill the Hewards. Now, they said, look, we're going to tell you a story, and it's going to involve other people killing these people. Yeah. Now, we don't know who we have no theory of how it happened. We just figure that these other people probably did it. If it wasn't these two we've mentioned, it's probably others. I mean, shit, they have countless enemies. Everybody but Kirk Casavaugh, basically.
Look for a Pontiac Tempest.
That's all it is, a Pontiac fucking Tempest. So, Jesus Christ. But they could show that Casavaugh had not killed them and that the evidence was manipulated to point the finger at him.
Okay.
Because it's a big setup. But the Attorney General said the state would be able to clearly show that Casavaugh killed the Hewards.
Yeah.
Obviously here. They have the trial and it's all the evidence we just stated, all the forensics, all the testimony that was allowed in. The jury comes back on this guilty, obviously, of something. Guilty of second-degree murder in the death of Jennifer and first-degree murder in Jeremy's death. So that's a big one. First-degree murder is chunky.
Yeah.
So they go to
Hampshire, though.
Yeah, they go to sentencing on this thing, and he gets sentenced here, and the judge says, "You, sir, may fuck off. Life without parole.
Ouch.
No parole. Life for the first-degree murder." And then a little later on, he's sentenced for Jennifer 40 years to life.
Ouch.
To be served consecutively also. So just in case. That's just to bury him further, because obviously life without parole, nothing else needed.
But extra, sir.
But you're getting a little bit,
figure it out.
A little bit extra. Just so you know, you're in here. We will keep your corpse another 40 to 60 years. We don't care.
I wish they would.
That would be great. Nope, we're keeping it in a glass cabinet up front until it's time.
I wish they would.
Your descendants can have it back if they want it 40 years from now. But otherwise,
there's a little fucking countdown above it with red numbers.
We're gonna turn it to powder and put it all over our flowers in the back.
With the hundreds of a second clicking too.
The warden's flower garden. That's where it's going. So during the sentencing, the victims' family just kept pleading for him to confess to the murders and all this sort of shit, but he remained silent during the whole thing. 24 family members of the Hewards were there, and obviously a little bit emotional. The defense attorney said she disagreed with the content of the pre-sentencing investigative report compiled by the New Hampshire State Department of Corrections. She said that Casavaugh stood by his not guilty pleas, but added that issue was best raised in the appeal process. So he's not going to say, "I didn't do shit" during sentencing. Not that it matters. Right. His life without parole. The prosecutor detailed a lengthy list of relatives and friends of Jennifer Heward who had either witnessed Casavaugh's alleged abuse of her or threatening her life. The prosecutor said, quote, "His behavior after the murder was equally as despicable. He threw her away like a piece of garbage and exhibited not a shred of remorse when he was interviewed by police. He called her a miserable bitch." Yep. Abusers and murderers like the defendant don't stop unless they are stopped. Bill Rowley, who's a cousin of the Hewards, he spoke and he called on Casavaugh to confess. He said, quote, "If you were a real man, you'd stand up in the courtroom and let us have some peace and tell us what really happened that night." Not bad at all. The victim's grandmother, she got up on the stands and gave this motherfucker the business.
All right.
This old lady got up there and said, "My fucking 48-year Coca-Cola whatever husband." No, that's Casavaugh. Sorry. I don't know what the Heward's grandparents are like, but she got on the stand, Louise Coates, and fucking laid into this asshole. She said, quote, "Maybe God will forgive you, but I never will." She called him a coward and a bully. She said that he had other options. He could have called 911 if he were being attacked in his own home. She said, quote, "What I want for you is to stand up and say you did it. You can't blame them anymore for what you did. Please stand up and tell us you're sorry. When someone takes the life of another person, it causes repercussions for every citizen in this state. By your actions, you took away two people who could have added something wonderful to our whole environment. So, yes." And then the judge says, quote, "Now you probably don't care how the family of Jay and Jenny feel about what you've done to, how about what you've done to your own family." Yeah. And then the grandmother, this is the best because the grandmother piggybacks on this. Her grandmother,
okay.
the victim's grandmother. Yeah. She said, "Your siblings, your mother, your grandparents, aunts and uncles, they felt the same emotions we did. They have to live the rest of their lives knowing what you did and realizing that they raised a monster." Which, yeah, I would say so. She said, "During the trial, we saw some horrific pictures of what you did to Jay and Jenny and how you threw them on trash piles. The autopsy pictures were so horrific that none of us will ever forget them. But the pictures I will always remember is not the one shown during the trial. It's the one of my brother carrying his children to their grave." That is fucking rough.
And then a standing O.
And a mic drop, and then the judge says, "Fucking life without parole." That is just Wow.
And then the committee comes and hangs medals on her.
Yeah, she gets Good Citizen Award. It's all good. Casavoss showed no emotion during this whole thing. He is credited. Nope, he just stood there stone-faced. He is credited with 940 days of pretrial confinement, which mean nothing. And he was ordered to pay restitution for funeral expenses of $2,742.50 and $2,997.50, plus the statutory 17% administrative fee to the Victims' Compensation Fund, which I bet they'll never fucking get. No. Court also recommended that he receive drug and alcohol treatment and counseling, and that he complete counseling, treatment, or education programs as directed by the correctional authorities. And
that's easy.
That's easy.
Put
Who
him
cares?
in a cell. No more drugs and alcohol for you.
20, you're locked down, so good luck.
Pretty great treatment.
Wait, look at that. So, well, they have a lot of drugs in jail, as we'll talk about, but the judge here said that the second sentence has no practical effect, as he's already been sentenced to life without parole, but it was a separate day of justice for the killing of the second victim. Just another chance for me to tell him to go fuck himself. Yeah, that's all I wanted.
That's Judge for, I just told him to fuck himself, and it was fun.
Fuck off, and I loved it. So during the appeal, he appeals, obviously. He appeals with that they admitted evidence that he previously threatened her. It's the same shit he didn't want into court. Yeah. He appeals at the Crystal Sanborn shit and all the other people who said that he threatened her in front of people and then held a gun to this one's head and all that type of shit. The court says, quote, we reject the defendant's contention that the trial court erred in failing to issue a limiting instruction in Sanborn's testimony. So fuck off on count one. Two is admitting evidence that he terminated his initial interview with the police, that whole thing, because he didn't like when they cut the fucking tape. That's ridiculous. They said tough shit, basically. They did say that wasn't the best way to do it. They did kind of admire, they got on the prosecution a little bit for that. They said, quote, that gave the jury the impression that because the defendant had killed the victims, he invoked his right to silence. They said, presenting the facts of that interview more vaguely could have reduced the prejudice against him. The judge said, quote, that's not the best way to present evidence. The best way to present evidence is to reduce prejudice. Yeah. So that makes sense, but doesn't matter. It's not enough to do anything. And also admitting the evidence of from the second police interview, also that a couple of things were redacted, and he was trying to get off on that, basically. The interview appeared to reveal the defendant lying to the police about what they would find in a search of his property. And so they said, well, yeah, that's what we're looking for, is evidence that he's a fucking liar, too, on top of it. Sure. So that outweighs any prejudice. And they tell him, you can keep fucking off, have a good one, enjoy life in prison without parole.
Terrific.
Which is great. Now, 2017, his name pops up again in the paper here. He's got no more. He's stuck. He's fucked on appeals and all that kind of shit, unless he comes up with some cause, some habeas thing. Anyway, 2017, there's a big article about crackdowns in the prison due to drugs. And they've caused such discomfort for prisoners. They took away their board games. People aren't allowed to send them mail, physical shit anymore, all these different crackdowns. So they talked to a bunch of prisoners about it, and one of them is Kirkman Casavoss III. Okay. They talked to him. He said, quote, this is what Kirkman said. He's trying to diagnose and fix the system now, this fucking idiot, all right?
He's a
trailer-dwelling crackhead murderer is going to fucking tell us what's going on here. He said, quote, they're trying to plug the little leaks instead of the big ones. He says that he complains that he no longer gets greeting cards over Christmas from his best friend, and that visits from his grandmother have been stripped of their joy due to stripped of their joy. We're sorry. We're real sorry. Does your grandma not get to have a joyous visit with her grandson? Gee,
in prison?
I know another grandma who doesn't get a joyous visit with any of their fucking people. It's fucking prison. He says, quote, my grandmother visits me once a week. When she comes up now, there are no cards, no board games, no food. We don't have enough conversation to talk for 3 hours, so she's going to travel 4 hours for what? We need fucking Parcheesi here. Now, I need Simon when she comes in the door. If Connect 4 is not on the table, I'm leaving.
We don't have anything to talk about for a half an hour. What are you staring at?
3 hours.
3 hours.
No, so they need to play fucking Battleship and look at greeting cards, and that'll pass the time.
Figure out something to talk about.
Or
have her come once a month.
This poor bastard can't talk to his grandma as freely and openly as he would like to. Jesus. What are you kidding me? Don't you feel bad for him?
Terrible.
He has a Facebook page because he's a dildo.
Yeah.
Not that you're a dildo if you have a Facebook page, but he's a dildo that happens to have one. Yeah. And he also has a Vimeo account, which is the video site, but no vids loaded up to it. He's not done anything. But the picture on the Vimeo account is fucking, it's him in his like prison scrubs, like these beige prison scrubs trying to look hard. And I'm like, that's your Vimeo picture?
What a turd.
You fucking lunatic. Well, that's Belmont, New Hampshire.
Wow.
And that is a complete asshole named Kurt Cassavaugh III.
What a story.
He's an asshole.
He's a miserable bitch.
He's a miserable bitch. And thank you to the listener who actually sent that to us, because honestly, that was a cool one that we needed to find. And that was one where I was, like I said, I was looking for one, and that was the one that I found. So
you did great.
And I didn't do shit. No. I just found this person sent it to us.
Who is it?
Right
What's
here.
The name? Let's get a good name. Give some credit to somebody where it's due.
It is Kathy DeFelice Hines.
Thank you,
who
Kathy.
Sent it on Facebook.
What a story.
We really appreciate that. That was super cool.
Yeah.
So thank you for sending that to us, and all of that good stuff. If you like that show, I have an idea.
Yeah.
I think, now this is going to be out of left field.
This is crazy.
You can go to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever that purple icon is. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. It's not for our ego, but it does help us drive up the charts. So we really appreciate that. And we are going to be on a new network, so we need all that support we can.
Yes.
Also, quick thing here, besides giving us 5 stars, we are going to have a new thing when we go to our new network in July, where every other week we're going to do a bonus show.
All right.
It's on their, whatever their, I don't know, premium. We'll get to whatever it is, but it's not a bonus show like a story. We're going to do like basically just some extra stuff. It's going to be like 15-20 minutes, whether it be some questions you guys have asked us, or just updates, things like that. It's just going to be 15-20 minutes of like just some extra stuff. We'll make it funny and we'll answer your questions and kind of try to get back to you guys and stuff like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited about that.
If you want to be a part of that and you have questions, send them to crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Absolutely. And also, you can head over to Shut Up and Give Me Murder, where you can find our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can also find merchandise, damn it, T-shirts and mugs and leggings, ladies, on guys, whoever. Leggings for everybody. Leggings all around. Also, tickets to live shows, like we said, tonight, Boston, or maybe yesterday if you listen to it on Friday, or last week. Who knows? 6 months ago. I don't know when you're listening to this.
I hope you're listening right now. You're in Boston.
December 13th, 2018, we're talking about here. We're in Boston. We are in Chicago on Friday, Detroit on Saturday, Silver Spring, Maryland on Sunday, and then I drop dead in an airport on Monday.
And then I pray for it to crash on the way back.
That's how it happens. And then, so you get your tickets there. Also, January 25th in Seattle and February 21st in West Palm Beach, Florida at the Improv down there. It's a sweet club, so enjoy it. Yeah, it's a gorgeous club. Great place to watch a show. Come out and see us there. If that's not enough for you, well, you can follow us on social media if you want to hang out with us there. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and Small Town Pod on Facebook. Yes, there are 3 different ones because this world sucks. That's fine. If you want to be an even bigger friend, follow those links even farther out to patreon.com/crime in sports. And that is how you can make a donation and become one of our producers, who we're going to talk about in just 1 second.
They're so great.
There's another way to do that. You'll be just as much of a producer by going to PayPal and using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, to just drop one-time payments or whenever you feel like it. Whatever. It's all good. Every dime we're blown the fuck away by.
Truly.
And Jimmy, tell me the people we're blown away by this week. Hit me with it now.
This week's executive producers are Jennifer Gross, Catherine Polus, Anastasia Middleton, Laura Blakesley ×2. She donated twice. And something was going on with her this week. I don't remember what, but you know what? Never mind. I think she's going to make it to the show. She was going back and forth about going to a show. Hope to see you there, Laura.
Definitely.
She's going to make it to a show. I don't know if she did or not. We'll see.
Come see us, damn it.
Her.
Thank you.
Margie Kunze, again, thank you so much. Mary Matt Kleeman, Lonnie Hall, she donated twice also.
Wow, thank
Craig
you.
Ventura, he's back. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
Michelle Hayes, Shannon Russell, and Christopher Dobransky. That's right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
Regina.
Awesome.
Regina Kuda. Already, right out of the gate. Regina Kudajarov.
There you go.
Kudajarov.
All right, that's not bad.
Martina Liwalonga.
Oh,
yeah,
she's the best.
Great.
Thanks, Martina.
Ashley Vio, Brendan Abels, Jesse Hartman, Jordan Neverez, Sarah Reichert, Valerie Anderson, Nicholas Sanders, Carissa Wilson, Temry Iverson, Nicole Renard, Georgiana Whitley. Georgiana
Whitley?
Yep. Martina Kunkel, Heath Belowich? No, Deloach. That's it.
Deloach.
It's not a B, it's a D. Deloach. Aha. Cindy Oakes, Heather Cotton, Stephen Rude, Cody Neuenfeld, Kat Power, and Lauren Demarath. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys.
Paitila's OK Welding. It's just okay. It's not great, but it's fine.
They're decent.
They're getting through it.
You need something to stay on. It'll stay.
They're learning.
Nothing fancy, but it'll stay.
Andrea Samples, Justin Miller, Tyler Atkinson, Shalima Altos, Kelly Latta, Blaze Patterson. He donated twice. Thank you, Blaze. That's a cowboy name.
Thank you. That's
Blaze.
a damn good name. Yeah.
Taylor Cadwallader. Gary Howard, Melissa Schmaltz, 30 Roses. I don't know what that is. Google it. Catherine Beal, Tanya Hayden, Under the Sea Fabrics, Jordan Bennett, the Lino Lakes. Is it Lino? Is it Lino? What is it?
It's definitely Lino.
It's Lino Lakes.
It's absolutely. If there's one thing in the world I know.
Fund. That's what that is.
That's hilarious.
Matt Dietrich.
Sorry, Matt Dietrich. I didn't mean to step on your name.
Kyle Juarez, Lillian Frink, Jen Stevens, Bryant Toole, Rosanna Wagner, Cody Beretta, Janae Compton. Shit, I wrote these really small. Charlene Rambler, John Starks. I don't think it's the same John Starks.
Fuck yeah.
I want it to be the same John Starks.
So do I. Love John Starks.
Renee Kyle.
Effort-giving son of a bitch right there.
Preston Letterman, Shauna with no last name, Gina Jones, Rachel Stonecipher, Brianna Seeley, Haley McGivern, Brandon Piper, Michelle Williams Gilbert. I don't know why I stuttered on the easiest three names ever. Andrew Dugan, Captain Surly, Jessica Seidel, Lauren Odom, Taryn McNee, Janice Hill, Joey Leshnak, Nicole Vaughn, Neil Threets. Nikhil for Neil? Really?
Yeah, no, that's...
I don't know what I'm doing. Tara Bendick.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Don Hanson, Jana Dickens, Jana Wellhouse. How do we have two Janas? That was impressive.
Thank you, Jana Society.
Donating right next to each other. Joshua Conley, Tristan Stevenson, Simon Oxley, Melissa Sewell, Stephen McTeague, Annette Wright, Leanne Edwards, Brendan Healy, Jared Dobbs, Johanna Rosas, and then Johanna Rosas. Anyway, and then Javon. This is my favorite.
Johanna, is it?
Yeah, it is Johanna Rosas.
Yeah, I knew a girl named
right.
Johanna once.
And then Javon Senga, who is Manja's son.
Hey,
he
donates in his
with his dad, and he pulled
that's amazing.
£2 out of his own money and gave to his dad and told him, give this to those nice boys in America.
That's incredible.
Thank you, Sanja or Sanga family. I don't know.
Thank you, Manj.
He told me that we pronounce it wrong every time.
We always say Sanja.
Yeah.
So we're probably wrong.
His family's fucking amazing.
You guys
and I love
rock.
you, man.
We really
Thank
like
you so much, you guys. You're fantastic.
Thank you so much, everybody.
We really cannot say and stress how thankful we are for everything you guys do for us.
Thank you,
From
guys.
awards to accolades to things you say about us on social media to every dime that you send us.
The fact that we could buy a new computer without not being able to pay our rent to keep our show going to record. So thank you guys.
You guys have changed our lives and given us
amazing.
Meaning and something to do, and we really love doing it.
It is.
So
and what if they wanted to tell you all about the meaning you've given them, Jimmy? How can they get a hold of you to do that?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And truly, it's really I'm really thankful for what you guys do for us. So thank you. What about you?
You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description. Look for me that way. You can do that, and you won't be able to spell it. So it's easier like that. Trust me, guys. Come out to live shows. We tell you, our live shows are awesome.
We have a lot of fun.
We put a lot into them, and we make sure that you're going to walk out of there in pain from laughter. That's our goal.
Let's have whiskey.
Yeah, and also whiskey and weed and whatever else comes up. We're gonna
I'll bring James plenty of.
Oh, please. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have so much damn fun, everybody. And until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.